McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
The weather may be cooling down, but the offers are still hot at Infiniti of Westchester. This month, lease a 2024 Infiniti QX60 for as low as $499 per month. Not only that, but the all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80 is available now at Infiniti of Westchester. So what are you waiting for? Visit us in-store or online today at infinityofwestchester.com. Philly rides with us. Lease based on model VIN RC 333189 with 5374 due at lease signing. See dealer for full details. Offers expire 10/31/2024.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Listening to Dawn's show, you know that we have Al Schmidt on, and Guy Shiraki checked in and told us the Shore system, the system that, just as it says, is linked up. Well, we'll get the full definition on that in a moment, that when you early vote mail-in ballot, that everything is going to be kosher. Not like that ice cream truck of Montgomery County headed to the prison tomorrow, which isn't linked to any Shore system. We'll have the update from a federal judge on that case a little bit later. But right now, we have Chester County Commissioner Eric Rowe, who is in the center of the action, and we hear that the system has now been restored. Chairman Rowe, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Dom. Thanks for having me.
So the system has been restored.
That's correct. So for a little over an hour, the Shore system was down. It was sporadic there for some counties and not others for just a few minutes, but then it went down for everybody. But I am pleased to tell you that it is back up and running again.
What is that? We use the term Shore, obviously that an acronym for a reason. What's the Shore system?
So the Pennsylvania Shore system is essentially the state's voter service software. It's the State Uniform Directory of Electors. So that's what Shore stands for. But it's used for a lot of things. You can check your mail-in ballot on there, but that's, it's the state's operating system for our elections. It's kind of antiquated, though. I'm not going to lie. It's not as advanced as a lot of county operating systems.
So if this went down on Election Day, let's play that out first. What would happen? I have Al Schmidt on today, Commissioner. You might have a question for him, by the way, but I have over 50 here because last time we had him on, it brought up a lot of questions. What happens if that would go down on Election Day?
So the Shore system is used for a lot of different things, but on Election Day, when you're voting in person, say you've got your ballot in hand at your, traditional in-person polling precinct, the Shore system isn't used for that, for that instance. The way it's being used right now for quote-unquote early voting is you've got voters coming in person to their voter services office or a satellite office, and they're actually being asked to show ID to prove that they are who they say they are to get their individual ballot. And their information goes into the system, the Shore system, which spits out their individualized ballot that's then printed off and handed to them to vote on and return right there in person. When you're voting in person, it doesn't work that way. You know that ballot that you're voting on is your ballot, and everybody else in your precinct gets that exact ballot. So I don't think it would be quite as chaotic on Election Day, although it would certainly be harmful in other ways, especially for, our voter services departments who do need the Shore system up and running on Election Day itself.
So, Eric, we've spoken before. I'm not a conspiracy guy, as you know. I leave that to one of my producers here. But do we know what the cause of this is? And is the investigation underway? Is there going to be treated just a blip on the screen? I hope there's going to be a full investigation of this.
So I'm told that there were network provider outages that impacted the connections for the the statewide Shore system. So I suppose my request to Secretary Schmidt is, why don't we update this, right? I've heard it compared to, I've heard the Shore system compared to using a dollar store calculator versus a Texas Instruments fancy, big calculus calculator, right? I mean, we really do need to upgrade this. Pennsylvania is, there's no good reason that we should have an outdated, antiquated voting system statewide. We really can and probably should do better, especially now that both parties are embracing mail-in ballots more and more, because this early voting is really a product of the mail-in ballot process. Like when you go into your voter services office and you want to vote early, that's all actually through mail-in ballots. You're applying then and there for a mail-in ballot with your ID and getting a mail-in ballot. So, we really do need an updated system that reflects this newer need, that our voters want to participate in this way.
I'm putting that at near the top of my list, Commissioner Eric, to ask Al Schmidt about that, to get him on board. Yeah, look, people are willing to spend on the right things, and this is one of those. I just got a text from Scott Presler, who's listening, the unbelievable voter registration guy across Pennsylvania. And he says to inform, and I'm going to ask you something about this, Mr. Schmidt, Al Schmidt, the secretary, he predicts a massive amount of people are going to vote early in person Monday and Tuesday. That's when they're going to get that done with the mail-in ballot. What can you tell us out in Chester County? Is there a provision, because we had this shutdown today, how long are you open on Monday and Tuesday, for example?
So, our voter services office is open from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 every day. I believe that the hours may be a little bit different. I can pull up those exact details for you in just a moment. But we do encourage it. I personally encourage it. I love the idea that someone would have to show an ID to vote. I think that's a good idea.
Yes, exactly right.
But like I said, we're encouraging this now, and our systems need to reflect, that those new voting trends. I'm speaking as a Republican, right? I heard a friend of mine say this yesterday, and I think he's right. It's just a simple math problem. The more people who vote early, the better, right? The party that votes for, 30, 40, 50 days is always going to beat the party that votes for just 13 hours on Election Day. So we got to get people active and engaged early on. But I will tell you, in Chester County, so we had this little blip this morning, okay? We have a great voter services team that really takes customer service really, really seriously. Our voter services director went out into the hallways and personally greeted the voters and said, "We're so sorry the Shore system is down, but we're still going to, take down your information. We're still going to have you apply for this on paper. We're going to get this processed for you. We can put it in the mail to you if you want. We can hold it for you and have you come back. We're committed to helping you vote this way. We're sorry about this, but we're going to get this taken care of." And now that it's back up and running, they are off to the races getting those voters who were delayed their ballots. And so I got to hand it to our voter services.
Well, look, I'm glad
really
you came
hard.
on to commend it. That's exactly what we want. That's the exact way this should be, because I know it can take a little time when you vote. You come in, ID, and the whole thing and all. Now they're cutting the red tape of that. That's exactly right. And yet, we're still identifying the voters. We can do it.
Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much. Please
thank
check
you for having me, Dom.
Any updates on anything related to voting at all, please just tell our guys and we'll get you back on.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, Dom.
Thanks, Commissioner Eric Rowe out there in Chester County. We'll talk with Al Schmidt at 1 o'clock today. Scott Presler already. If I get one more text from one more person, how'd you get Al Schmidt? Whoa, what do you mean Al Schmidt's coming on? It's like we have the Pope on at 1 o'clock. And what a day to have him when the Shore system goes down. Now, on Election Day, you heard what he said. It could affect things in a lot of ways. This is exactly what we don't want. You heard what he's told is the cause. We'll see what the Secretary of State, he may have broader knowledge on that at 1 o'clock. All right, 855-839-1210. We got a great side question, but I want to go after a guy who is just a creep. He is the, Mediaite calls him the resistance hero. That would be I'm not sure if he's the former or current husband still of Kellyanne Conway. That would be Georgie Conway. So it's one thing to be leading the charges on General Kelly and the allegations that you know about that are out there. Okay, that's one thing. But he takes to Twitter to go after the family, which is still supportive of the woman who was killed in service to the country, Mexican-American woman who was killed. The family says, I don't appreciate how people are exploiting my sister's death for politics, hurtful and disrespectful to the important changes made for service members. President Donald Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. In fact, I voted for President Trump yesterday. And then George Conway jumps in. Instead of a long preamble of the sadness over her death, service to the country. No, not with Georgie Conway because it was Trump hatred. Georgie says, no one is exploiting your sister's death here. This isn't about her. It's about Trump's sociopathic behavior. Now, here's the money quote. He displays it publicly and privately, and his contempt for anyone else's lives, including those of men and women in uniform who made the ultimate sacrifice, is apparent, says Georgie, to anyone who chooses, unlike you, to open their eyes. Now, what kind of creep is going after a family in mourning in this manner? You know, isn't that a place where, look, well, we got to get at them. They're helping Trump here. We got to chip away at this. Maybe there's certain people you can't. Maybe they see it that way. Maybe that's their experience with Trump. And you're going to tell them, it's apparent to anyone who chooses, unlike you, to open their eyes. You little creep. Right there, in this sort of tactic, it should undercut what's going on here. Now, General Kelly, I give wide berth to because of his service to the country, etc. But there's a guy named Nick Ayers we're trying to get on who was the chief of staff for Vice President Pence and was often with General Kelly, who was Trump's chief of staff and Trump. And he says he sees no evidence of anything like this going on here, some of the charges that General Kelly has brought forward. And rather than talking about, I thought Trump was Hitler. Now, Anderson Cooper asked the wrong question last night. I don't think it was intentional agenda in Delco. I think it was just more incompetency, or he doesn't see it my way. He asked, is Trump a fascist? All right. Here is Kamala Harris's response, and then I'll tell you what the better question would be to allow no wiggle room. Here is the vice president when asked, is President Trump a fascist? Cut 6.
He who has openly admired dictators said he would be a dictator on day one. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has said he is a fascist to the core. So I think that when the American people reflect, especially those who are undecided, on who you should listen to, don't take my word for it. In fact, go online and listen to John Kelly, his voice, talking about what he thinks of Donald Trump 2 weeks before the election, because I think we all know, to your point, Anderson, it is close, but there are undecided voters who clearly, by being here, have an open mind, want to talk in a way that is grounded in issues and fact. And when they hear these facts, I think it compels a lot of people to be concerned about the future of our country with Donald Trump at the lead.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted. Again, look at their careers. These are not people, with the exception, I think, of only Mike Pence. These were not politicians. These are career people who have served in the highest roles in national security, who have served as generals in our military, who are highly respected, talking about the person who would be commander-in-chief.
Okay, so here's what I would have then followed up with. Yeah, we established she's saying fascist, but people are throwing words around. It gives her some wiggle room there to be calling him a fascist without going for what they're really telling you he is. And Anderson Cooper could have phrased it in any way that he wanted. So you're saying he would be like Hitler. This is potentially a Hitler overthrowing our system. I'd like to hear the answer to that. Because then the next follow-up is, even with the fascist comment, which is a little bit broader, loosey-goosey here of what we're talking about. First of all, by any standard definition, Trump is not a fascist. That means government-run industry. He's a capitalist. That knocks that out of the box. But I would have followed up with that. Then I would have said, realize what we're talking about here. We've had 2 assassination attempts, and people are thinking, yes, I have to take out Hitler before Hitler can get rolling here. So do you want to go on record saying that? In other words, make the point what this means. It's not just winning an election, what this causes by making this argument. I would have gone with that rather than fascist, which people go, what does that? You got to say what the word is. You want to say Mussolini, say Mussolini. You want to say Hitler, say Hitler. Don't say fascist, which everybody in the world throws around, usually almost always on conservatives. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board here with Dom Giordano. Coming up, more of your calls at 855-839-1210. Let me give you the side question here. The side question today is Nancy Grace's birthday. So Dan is not a fan. So we're looking for somebody, you don't want to hear anything more from them. Now, try not to be political. Somebody who you wish you wouldn't hear again with a platform that you have to hear and all that type of stuff. All right, so Sonny Hostin is mine, and Nick Sirianni is another. I wish he would just coach again. I can't stand to hear this guy talk. It's one of those things. So don't make it just political. Meaning it could be the syntax, it could be the accent, it could be something like that. Henry, how about yours?
Yeah, it's not that this guy necessarily talks a lot, but he seems to always be in the sports news cycle this time every year, and that is former Sixer Ben Simmons. Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy every year, it's like, this is the year Ben Simmons is going to be back. And you know what? He never is. He never is. And you know what? He might be this year. You know why? It's a contract year. Right. He has to get another 5-year contract so he can sit out the first 4 years of it. That nerve impingement in his back's going to act up as soon as he becomes an all-star again this year.
All right, so that's the side question here. We're rolling with the Conway comments, and you heard about the Shore system. 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all I need you to do is push pound 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
This is going to be epic.
Former president's going to have a podium.
Okay, I did not know this.
Yeah.
All right.
I probably should have warned you, Sean.
Are we going to have bulletproof glass?
It's an FOP lodge, so there's going to be a lot of cops. So
Very nice.
I think you're going to be fine.
You'll be well protected, sir.
This is a technological miracle if we can pull this all off. We shoot for the stars here.
Polymarket has over-under at 1.5 crashes on tech issues, but we will see.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
We don't care who you vote for in the upcoming election. You know why? Because this is not a political ad. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group meet with people every day wondering if they should be doing something different with their money because it's an election year. At Retire Ready Financial Group, we want you to know where your money is, how it's performing, and if the market does go down, how does it affect your retirement? We call it a portfolio snapshot, and we do it at no charge. Our goal is for you to have confidence as you enter retirement, confidence to spend, and confidence that you won't run out of money. Let's vote those election worries right out of your retirement. For your complimentary portfolio snapshot, call 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or go to retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
The following is a paid commercial message.
The world was a lot different in 2006. No smartphones, no electric cars. This is how we connected to the internet. And back then, Bob Casey wasn't siding with the far-left liberals. But nearly 2 decades in Washington has changed Bob Casey. Now, Casey's voted to let biological men compete against our girls in their sports, and supported letting biological men into girls' bathrooms and locker rooms. Letting men change next to our girls? That's insane. Worse, Casey introduced a bill to force hospitals to perform sex change operations. Forcing hospitals to perform sex changes against their beliefs? What is Casey thinking? On top of it all, Bob Casey voted to raise middle-class taxes. Your family struggles, but Casey, he is for they, them. Bring normal back to Washington and fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Al Schmidt here at 1 o'clock. Everybody in the universe of voting is texting me stuff for him, and we'll get a couple of his concerns. What a day to have him on, though, with this Shore system going down. Also, the ice cream truck has gone national now. I've told a number of people, you'll be seeing it on national news, saying, what? They're taking a truck configured like an ice cream truck, and they're going to a prison to get prisoner votes? Yeah, unless they're stopped. It's in court, and we'll have an update on that for you from Wally Zimmelong, our attorney. That's ongoing. And what the world is wrong with people in Montgomery County? I mean, how much farther can you go with this guy? By the way, I'm going to talk to Al Schmidt about this, too. On election night, and we're going to have coverage on election night, but what they believe we're going to see is we might see, because of better counting this time, the blue vote, the Democrat vote, with the mail-in ballot and, voting on election day, more prominent. Then after a few hours of that, we're going to see the pivot toward the red because of the election day and also the mail-in ballots that are red. And then we're going to see a pivot back to blue based upon some late returning stuff. So the guy out in Montgomery County thinks, the commissioner with the ice cream truck, that they'll have theirs done sometime mid-afternoon or something like that, he's said at the Inquirer, on Wednesday. There's starting to be projections that this shouldn't take longer than a day. That's my hope, because the longer it goes on, you know what that means, the more trouble. The more stuff, like we just had this shore system go down right in the middle of it. Was it just caused by network connections? It's a bit antiquated. Or are there actors trying to throw apart our election system in key counties? What are we doing to prevent it? You'll get that with Al Schmidt. Now, here is an all-time meltdown today. This is wild. We know the hatred of Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough for Trump. It's second to none. Here is Mika, though, saying that Trump and Trump policies are killing women. Not only they can't get abortions, but then you have women saying, I can't have a baby if Trump is president. What kind of world? Bringing them into the world stuff. This is how intense this irrationality is. Here's Mika.
Important as Trump's fascism is, and is the lead story every day, his cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us.
What?
He is putting us at risk. He is making us afraid to have babies. He is putting our reproductive health at risk, and some women have died already because of this. So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots about what Trump has said about Hitler. That's incredibly important to know. But I do understand that people who are busy and that are people who are just tapping in may not be able to comprehend, because we've been free. We've been comfortable. We cannot comprehend that. And I understand that. I validate that it is hard to go from here to there. It is where we're going. I hope we don't find out the hard way. But what's happening with women right now is real, and it is playing out across America.
So not only is Trump Hitler, a fascist Mussolini, he's killing women now. So once again, how many more assassination attempts do we need to hear? How much more do we see before they stop it? They don't care for two reasons. They want to defeat him, and they don't really care if someone seemingly is taking a shot at him. They don't care about either opportunity here. They just want to stop him at all costs. So he's killing women right now, and he's on his road to being Hitler. Is there anybody out there brave enough to save the world, to save women now with Mika Brzezinski? That's how wild this gets. That's how far this has gone. By the way, this is Cut 12, Henry. Here is Mark Esper, former, I don't know if he was acting or he was Secretary of Defense, who didn't get along with Trump and was eventually fired. But here's what Mark Esper says about this whole thing with General Kelly.
Were there ever any incidents, Secretary, that you have not previously spoken about in which you heard Donald Trump use similar language or refer to American military personnel in a derogatory fashion?
No, not along the lines that John Kelly and others have outlined.
All right, so no, he is not seeing it in the manner of General Kelly. Now, I don't know if General Kelly is an easy one. All right, Nancy Grace's birthday, that always starts staying up. Somebody that you'd rather not hear from again. You'd rather not hear any public statement, no platform. They're not out there. Don't call with Nancy Pelosi. We're taking all this off the board. Don't come up with the tired ones. Give us a little pizzazz with your answer with this. And again, I get it. Here's one. This is Cut 17, Henry, to illustrate. Here's a new contender, Representative Mickey Sherrill. She is in Jersey. Here she is again, pushing the idea that Trump will turn America into a dictatorship by bringing up, wait for it, Charlottesville.
Do you think Donald Trump fits the definition of a fascist? Do you think the label matters?
Sure, I think he fits the definition, but I don't think it matters. I think what matters to people is more around his actions and his words. Speaking admiringly of Hitler. And quite frankly, this is not the first time that he has spoken approvingly of Nazis. In fact, 6 years ago, as I was first entering into my first congressional
just stop
race,
a little bit there, Henry. Dope alert here. You dope. You uninformed dope who happens to be a congresswoman. Come on the show. We'll play you the full clip. We'll talk what Snopes said. And then we'll see if this dope can give this line up. I don't think that she's doing this, that she knows that she's lying. I think she's a dope. Continue.
He had said at Charlottesville with Nazis on one side who were chanting, "Jews will not replace us," that there were good people on both sides. So this is not new for Donald Trump. He's spoken approvingly of Putin, Vladimir Putin. He's spoken approvingly of President for Life Xi and Viktor Orban of Hungary and other fascists. So I think what should concern the American people is not a label, but rather what would Donald Trump do should he ever be in power again? And he's shown us in the past that he did not want to leave despite a Democratic election the last time he was president. And I think now with what he knows, it would be very, very difficult should he ever get into the White House again to run a really fair election without him doing everything he can to undermine it.
When in the world are the media types, this I think was CNN, going to say, well, I get your point, but that's been debunked. That's not what he said about Charlottesville. Once Democrats get something, no matter how fraudulent it is, the media gives a pass forever. All right, the great Linda Kerns is with us next to talk about the experience of voting with a twist. I'll ask her about this Shore system and related matters. 1 o'clock today, big guests, big interviews. Al Schmidt, the man running Pennsylvania's election, which arguably is the most important in our lifetime, right here in Pennsylvania, will be with us. And I've taken your questions and a bunch of other people. And I am going to ask him, what do we know now happened to this Shore system today? All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. That's the way that you get in. For years, I've talked about the health benefits of Rescue Natural supplements after making their omega-3s a part of my daily routine. From supporting heart health to providing pain relief, they provide essential nutrients that impact our bodies in so many great ways. Listen to this recent comment from Carol. She says triglycerides are at an all-time low, and pain and muscle aches, they've decreased too. People like Carol have trusted Rescue with their health goals, and now it's your turn. For a limited time, use the code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any of the 7 Rescue Omega-3 choices. To get this special radio offer, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or use the code online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, use that code OMEGA50, OMEGA50. Buy one, get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
You have key decisions to make about your money. Most investors don't beat the market, and neither do the hedge funds, who take a share of your profits. What if there was another way? a way for you to keep total control over your money where the interests were aligned. That's what the exclusive crash-proof retirement system is all about.
Mike Bisaccia from Logan Township, New Jersey. You can't follow the market because nobody can predict it. What you have today could be gone tomorrow. That's the way it works, up and down, and your money goes up and down. That's what led me to see if there was another alternative. Crash-proof retirement gave me that alternative. With crash-proof retirement, the money you make is credited to your account, and that money's yours. No ifs, ands, or buts, no worries. No fees. We had a high point of 13.5%. Once it's credited, it's your money to keep. That's a big deal.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Call 811 if you have some groundwork to do. Utilities are under you, and it's all good until they spew. Oops, now all on your lawn. It smells like a porta-john. Should've just called 811. It's a real human stinky bomb.
Call 811 before you dig and help us hit 50 and 5. 50% less damage to buried utilities in 5 years. For more info, visit pa1call.org.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A cold front has passed through the Delaware Valley, allowing for a cooler air mass to return. Plenty of sunshine and breezy today with a high near 70. Tonight, chilly, mostly clear, low 43 for the city and colder out in the suburbs. And a cooler day on Friday, plenty of sunshine with a high 67.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, it is Dom time. Big issues, big guest. Al Schmidt, Secretary of State, here at 1 o'clock. What a day to have him. But first, we have Linda Kerns, who is in charge of voter security, voter integrity for the Trump campaign across Pennsylvania, and had her own experience voting in person with her ballot yesterday in Philadelphia. Linda joins us on Talk Radio 1210. Linda, welcome back.
Hi, Dom. Thank you for having me back. And it looks like the Shore system in Pennsylvania is back up. That's the reports that we're getting. Yes. So I wanted your listeners to know that.
Yeah, the commissioner out in Chester County verified that, Linda. But what is this strike in your mind then? When you hear something like this, this is apocalypse now. If it happens on Election Day, he said, not really, it wouldn't be connected to the vote that day. But I can just imagine what people will be thinking if that happens.
Right. So the Shore system, those initials stand for the Statewide Uniform Registry of Electors. And the word elector is another word for voters in Pennsylvania. Right. So it is the computer system that holds everything. You can go on, or they can go on it, and they can find out, how many times I voted, what my address is, and so forth, and whether or not I requested a mail ballot. So all of that information is downloaded to the poll books in all 67 counties and all of the polling places. Some of our polling places in Pennsylvania have electronic poll books, and some of them have paper poll books. And each polling place will be operating independently. So if the Shore system is down during that day, it's not going to affect what's happening with the people who are voting in the election district. So people really don't have to worry about that. If it goes down later in the night, there might be a little bit of delay in reporting all the results to the Secretary of State, but it's not going to affect voting on Election Day.
Well, what it does is it triggers the thoughts of all the machinations of things that could go wrong here. And I'm going to ask Al Schmidt, what is their backup plan? Do they have redundancy? What do you think?
No, I do think that in general that states do have redundancies for these types of of issues. But yeah, I think that's a great question to ask Commissioner Schmidt, or excuse me, Secretary Schmidt. I make that mistake a lot, I guess, because he was in Philadelphia for so long. But I do want you to know that we at the RNC, we have so many people out in the field. We knew about this right away. We were immediately in contact with all of the appropriate authorities and found out that apparently it went down today from 9:45 to 11:15. It apparently affected select counties, and it was the network that underlies the shore system. So because we have so many people out in the field, because we've trained so many people, they've called us, and then we immediately called to the counties and had contact with all the appropriate authorities. So we were immediately on that. So I really want to I really want to thank the voters, because it's so helpful when we hear that from the voters, so we can look into it. And we do run down everything that happens.
I know that you do. Before we get to your experience voting in person, Wally Zimmerlong, who you probably know in some way, shape, or form, I'm guessing, is going to be on with an update in the 2 o'clock hour, Linda, because he's suing around the Mr. Softy truck, not attached to the shore system, just going out there and winging it on their own and going to the county prison tomorrow.
Right. So that's not connected to the Republican National Committee. So
no, I know it's not.
Yeah,
I'm just. What are your thoughts, though? Look, this guy's pushing the envelope out of Montgomery County. And again, we want to say no misinformation, no disinformation, all that stuff. We want to be on board. You're on board with it. I am. You got to stop pushing stuff like this in our face, though, which appears to be legally questionable.
Right. So I actually did look that up. I looked up, I had our data team look up how many of the people with addresses at that center actually requested ballots, because that would be in the shore system, and we get downloads from the shore system. And as of when I looked it up, which was, I think I did it yesterday, it was only 2 ballots. So it might be more as of today. But the point is that sometimes these things get a lot of play on Twitter and social media, and it turns out it's not as big of a deal as you know, it seems to be when it's on social media. And I just want to remind voters of that. Of course, the commissioner should not be going to a select place and favoring those voters over another. And I actually, on behalf of the Republican National Committee, had written to the commissioner saying there's a lot of VFW halls in Montgomery County. That would be a great place. If you're going to go seek out and help voters and go to where they are, why not go to a VFW hall and help our proud veterans? So we at the Republican National Committee have been following up on that and putting pressure on him. And we also sued when it was apparent that they did not do the proper testing of the mail ballots prior to sending them out on prior to opening voting on September 17th, when that commissioner did it. And what we found out and what they admitted was that they had tested a ballot 6 days before the Secretary of State certified that ballot. So they were basically guessing on what they were testing. So we follow up on everything at the Republican National Committee, and we are holding these election officials accountable, because we're here on not only just on behalf of President Donald J. Trump and all of the candidates, but all of our voters. We're here to protect the vote, and that's why our website is called protectthevote.com.
Linda, your experience then. So you're voting by mail, but you're doing it in person, which several people have recommended as more foolproof. And you've talked about, look, you can go to one of these offices, but don't think you're just going to walk in, walk out 5 minutes, and you're going to do your mail-in ballot. It's going to be a little bit longer than that, certainly. But if you get your mail-in ballot, then take it there. That's probably the most convenient way to do this.
Right, and let me just explain how I did it yesterday. I'm a resident of Philadelphia, so you can go to swampthevote.com, which is our website, and there's a choice there. You can say early vote. I think it's the early voting site. So you can put in your address, and our website will tell you where all of the offices are. Now, if you're in a smaller county, there's only going to be one office. But I had the choice of a couple different offices near my house. One was City Hall, and one was in South Philly, and another one was in West Philly. So I was actually at City Hall yesterday for court, and there looked like there was a lot of people that were going into that office, and I didn't want to wait in line, so I went to the one in South Philly. It's at like 18 something South Broad Street. So I just
walked
in.
Did you park in the middle of Broad Street?
No,
that vote doesn't count. That vote doesn't count.
I actually took an Uber, and the Uber driver saw my jacket where I proudly wear a Trump Vance button, and he said, I'm voting for him, and all my friends are. So that was really great to hear. But I went to the site, and someone let me in, and then there was a counter there, and they actually handed me the paper mail-in ballot application. So I sat, and they give you a clipboard, and I filled it out just as if I would have done it if I was at my own home. I handed it back to them, and then at that location they had 5 people set up with the computers. So I went to one of the stations. She had to enter my information in the SURE system, the statewide uniform registry of electors, because she had to make sure that I hadn't gotten a ballot yet, and she had to put in there that I was getting a ballot. She gave me then the secrecy envelope and the outside envelope, and then she had to go and print my ballot, because everyone's ballot is a little bit different depending on where you live, because we have different down ballot candidates. So once she printed that out, she showed me they had a place where you could vote privately, these like desks. And I filled in all of the circles. She actually was very helpful and showed me how to fill in the circles, but I obviously know how to do it. I filled in the circles for my choices, proudly voted for President Donald J. Trump. Then I folded it. I folded the ballot, put it in the secrecy envelope, sealed the secrecy envelope, put the secrecy envelope back in the outer envelope, signed and dated the outside, and then I brought it back to the front desk, and the woman there looked at it just to make sure that I had signed and dated it, because I think what they're trying to do is prevent anyone from, forgetting to sign or forgetting to date. And then there's a drop box right outside the office with 2 huge cameras on it, and this thing was solid. And I put it in there, and she said that they get picked up, and then they go back to the elections office, and it will get canvassed and counted starting on election day. And then almost immediately, because I put my email address on the application, I received a confirmation that I had requested an absentee ballot. So that's how the entire process worked. But people need to realize it might not be instantaneous. There might be a line. Sometimes the computer system's slow, because if it's just a time when everyone in the whole state is working on it, it could be a little slow. So it's not an instantaneous process, but totally well worth it, because now they have my vote. The campaign doesn't have to text me anymore and remind me to vote, and we can use those resources for somebody else to get a low propensity voter.
Exactly, which, Linda, I saw a report, I have it here somewhere, where we're striking gold there because the Trump people are doing better on low propensity voters, this study indicates, than Democrats in the swing states. That's exactly what the play is. That's what we're going for.
Right, and I've talked to you on my show about what a great leader Chairman Whatley has been, and the section of the campaign that does that, the Trump First 47, I'm on a lot of their training calls, because I go on those training calls just to answer the voters' questions, because I want our voters and volunteers to know that we have a legal staff working to protect the vote, and that is just such a great program. And our data team has focused on who is, a low propensity voter who needs extra encouragement to vote, and we have recruited these volunteers through Trump Force 47, and they personally encourage these people to vote, and it is absolutely paying off. It is not just a random, go knock on doors and bother people. This is a very targeted operation, and it's paying off. And I think also what's also paying off is what Donald J. Trump represents. I mean, we know that he's going to get into office and he's going to make America great again. And we know that all of these problems that are affecting Pennsylvanians, inflation, the problem with the border, crime, we know that those will be his focus. So I think that his campaign, along with our very, very comprehensive election integrity efforts, is just showing people that they can have faith in the process and get out there and vote for Donald J. Trump.
Exactly. Linda, thank you. Give us where to go again. Protect the vote.
You can go to protectthevote.com if you need to report anything. So if you go to one of those offices and it's down, report it to us. I mean, we probably will know, but we'll get right on it. And if you need to know how to get to one of those offices, how to request a ballot, go to swampthevote.com. And remember, you must request your mail-in ballot by October 29th. So don't wait till those last 2 days. They're going to be really busy. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Find a satellite office open on Saturday. Find an office open on Saturday, but do it now because there's going to be crowds on Monday and Tuesday. So get it in. Go get your request in now, and then you're done, and you're your vote's all in for President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, Linda, very much. Yeah, Scott Presler texting me that right away. Dom, make sure you tell that from Al Schmidt, from Scott Presler. Al Schmidt about 11 minutes away, but who's counting here with a lot of questions. Hey, enjoy all the NFL action with a chance to win on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers, you can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on a game this week. Favorite features in the app, you have the Parlay Hub, which is unbelievable. Popular bets. The FanDuel squares people really like. They're all there. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dom to make every moment more of this season. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you missed WPHT's Politics and Pints with Dom Giordano and Donald Trump Jr., now we have your chance to see it from the comfort of your own home.
When your grocery costs go up by 20%, it hurts you. It doesn't change anything for Taylor Swift. It's not going to stop her from flying on her Global Express. I don't know that she's in tune.
Tonight at 8, you can watch it in its entirety on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Click the subscribe button. That's Thursday night at 8, exclusively on YouTube at 1210 WPHT.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
You might need a rake. It's the Fall into Savings sale at Colonial Marble and Granite, where prices are falling like foliage. Now get a gorgeous all-in kitchen for just $6,999, including countertops, sink, cabinets, and hardware. Visit any Colonial showroom to take advantage of these and other great values. But hurry, it won't be fall forever. Sale ends November 4th. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details.
Wawa's Hot Turkey is back, and it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets, because Hot Turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It is Dom time. A little bit later after Al Schmidt, I just wanted to solidify this in my own mind. I'm going to tell you the story of this $10 million taxpayer-funded study by the woman who is in this country the biggest architect of gender-affirming care, yada, 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 all that stuff. She won't publish it, apparently because it doesn't show a big uptick of help for kids that go with the puberty blockers. We're spending $10 million. Here's what's going to happen with this woman of taxpayer money. If in the Senate and the Congress, they don't say, we're taking that study, we're publishing it, lady, $10 million in taxpayer funding. You're going to start to hear a lot more about this in the next few days. And the reason she's not publicizing it, she says she doesn't want to get it weaponized because she knows exactly what you and I might say. We're going to put kids through this $10 million study with the architect of this stuff. It doesn't give the answer she wants, so we're not going to show it. All right, coming up, we have to get Dan's on this thing with Nancy Grace, but we have Al Schmidt. I want to preserve every moment. Secretary of State of Pennsylvania on a big day here. He's next on Talk Radio 1210.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928. 800-682-9928.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Medicare is making important changes in 2025. Independence Blue Cross can help. Our Medicare Advantage plans include premiums as low as $0, dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. The deadline to enroll is December 7th. Visit ibxmedicare.com/radio. Independence Blue Cross offers PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Blue Cross PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
Gerhardt's Appliances has what you need to be tailgate ready this season for the birds. Whether it's the in-home appliances needed to prepare your famous Kelly green pepper casserole before pregame, or the barbecue grills you'll need to fire up the last of your sausage links in the parking lot before kickoff, Gerhardt's has you covered with the best game day deals on appliances. Gerhardt's Appliances, helping Philly sports fans get the season cooking since 1945. Visit Gerhardt'sAppliance.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Friday, October 25th, 6 to 10 a.m. Kale and Company presents The Great Mock Debate.
My fellow Americans, this is your favorite president with a big, beautiful announcement. We'll be live in the South Jersey FOP Lodge 56.
Where do they want me to go? A police hall in South Jersey. No, we defund the police in the Harris administration.
We'll see if she shows up. I don't know. We'll see about it. She's very scared. She's shaking in her boots.
Do you think the audience will wear masks? I don't want to breathe in that deplorable air. All right?
Tickets for the Great Mock Debate at South Jersey FOP Lodge 56 in Berlin Township have sold out, but you can still catch every minute live. Listen tomorrow morning 6 to 10 a.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time, and for a moment there, Dan, little glitch, I could see the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania. Sadly, you can't see me as far... Oh, there we go, with Al Schmidt. Hey, Al Schmidt, thank you very much. Part 2, and there's even more demand. You were a hit the first time around. Let's see how this one goes, Al. Thanks for joining us.
Dom, there's nothing to thank. I know the work that you do to make sure voters are aware and informed about elections, and they have lots of questions and deserve to have their questions answered. So that's why I'm here.
Well, particularly on this day, you don't have a hair out of place, and I'm sure with the Shore system going down, it had to be, because this leads to all sorts of senses of, what if something happens on Election Day? Not just with this system, but in general. So, Al, what can you tell us? What happened, and what does it mean?
Sure. And all of this played out just moments ago. We had a disruption in the connectivity to the state voter registration system. Mm-hmm. So it's not a voting system. There are no votes being cast on that system. It's a voter registration database. So county boards of elections interface with that board of election or that voter registration database all day long. And we had an outage for about 90 minutes that prevented many counties from connecting to it earlier this morning, but has been back up for a while now. It was like 9:45 to 11:15 this morning. Voters who applied to vote by mail, whether it's in person or whatever else, could still do so. It didn't prevent any of that.
Okay. One other thing, and then you were good enough to send a couple of areas of broad concern that you wanted to talk about. I want to go to that so we don't miss that. I'm getting reports from people, and again, voting, this is massive. It's not a perfect universe, about offices, satellite offices, and the like. There's a lot of moving parts, sometimes not being open when they say they're going to be open, and this causes kind of disruption. what is being done to try to keep all those moving parts, if they say they're going to be operational then, that they are for the full amount of time?
Yeah, and I've seen the same. Elections in Pennsylvania are really run at the county level with county boards of election offices, open in their county courthouse, or some like Philadelphia and others have satellite board of elections offices to assist with providing voter services. One of those voter services that plenty of people are taking advantage of this cycle, Democrats and Republicans alike, is showing up at a board of elections office, applying in person for a mail ballot, assuming it's approved, being able to complete it and return it all in one visit. Plenty of people have taken advantage of that, and that's led to lines. And Dom, as of yesterday, I visited 66 of 67 counties. And some of these counties only have maybe 2 or 3 people working in that board of elections office. So they can certainly at times become overwhelmed. It's not like Philadelphia, where I had 125 people working for me full time. So some of the smaller counties or less populous counties have I think struggled with the demand, but they're doing the absolute best they can. They're even when their office is closed, they're still there processing voter registration applications. They're still there processing mail-in ballot applications and preparing for Election Day, which is important as well.
Let me ask you, though, do they need more resources? This is an area where conservatives and everybody else, I think, are joined at the hip. Scott Presler just said, please ask the secretary this. Monday and Tuesday, we know, are going to be crush days, I think, particularly maybe Monday more than Tuesday, Al, because I think people are not saying, I'm not going to do it the last minute on a Tuesday. I'm going to come on Monday. Do they need more money in these county offices then to have more people for this, or is that impossible?
Well, we have a couple of funding streams that make resources available to our county partners. And by the way, when I say county partners, I was always irritated running elections at the county level and hearing the Pennsylvania Department of State refer to us as county partners, but never really feeling that way. And that's one reason why I wanted to visit with each county to pledge our support for them in whatever way we can. Funding, our county election administration is really funded at the county level, though. We have funding streams available. Almost all counties take advantage of that, but we don't hire people for county election offices. We don't staff them. We don't do any of that, but we want to assist them to the extent that we can. And for sure, I've seen it myself. Many of them have a lot of people who show up in person, who apply for a mail-in ballot in person, and want to cast their mail-in ballot vote in person in advance of Election Day.
Al, a really thoughtful question. You know, we have a lot of people that are involved in this that are listening when you're on because they're thrilled to hear you extent. Many public officials don't do this. They won't do it, and that's a mistake, and I'm very glad you are.
Well, when you have nothing to hide, Dom, why?
Right. Yeah. Well, I know. Well, but what is going to be your procedure? Can you tell us now? They put this into my head, and I was thinking about it myself. I was on the air with Rich Zioli in 2020 when all this was going down. Trump was ahead. We know it was a massive Democrat mail-in ballot was going to come. The voting stopped in some places. They didn't have the resources they now have. In your role, people would like to know, what are we going to hear periodically about what's happening, if anything, like how many votes to be still counted or something? What are you planning to do to be, not that you were not transparent, but to go that extra mile to inform during that? What can you do during this period, which I know you still think might be a couple of days? The Montgo commissioner thinks it'll only be a day. I'd like to believe that. What are you going to do, Al, to publicize stuff during that?
Well, it always comes down to how close an election is.
Yes.
Before you know who won and who lost. That has always been the case before mail-in ballot voting or anything else like that. But some things haven't changed and some things have. What hasn't changed is that Pennsylvania is at something of a unique disadvantage in that our counties cannot begin processing mail ballots until 7 a.m. on election morning. Other states, red states, blue states, even Florida, that process begins days, if not weeks in advance, where they're doing all the line preparation so that on election morning, they're just counting the votes. In Pennsylvania, that process can only begin at 7 a.m. So that's one thing that hasn't changed, unfortunately. But a few things have changed on. One, a lot of counties have acquired additional equipment through our funding system to process mail ballots envelopes faster. So sorting them, time stamping them, opening them, and all the rest. Two, counties have a lot more experience than they had in 2020, which is the first time any of us were dealing with this sort of volume of mail ballot voting. So there have been lessons learned along the way. And three, while still widely embraced, well, we still have a lot of people voting by mail. It's down since that peak COVID environment. 2020.
Al, let's stipulate all those. I get that. My question is more toward, do you have any role of updating us as far as where we are in the count or how many votes are left? Or is there anything that can be done rather than, you know what happens? We hear this initial thing and then suddenly the mail-in ballots seem to come in, one thing or another. There could be a big shift that's predicted.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the long answer there. No. One last aspect of it that really answers your question here is something that has changed since 2020 is counties are required to report to the Pennsylvania Department of State now how many mail ballots they still have yet to count.
Okay.
So even if they haven't counted them all yet, you at least know the universe of votes that are still yet to be counted. In 2020, lots of counties, including ours in Philadelphia, didn't know that. We were busy counting the votes, not counting how many votes we had to count. And with our making additional funding available through Act 88, which the legislature passed, there's more funding available for counties to staff up so they have people who can count how many ballots there are still left to count. So we call it a 1201 report. So soon after midnight, you'll know the total number of mail ballots cast. But let me add this. There's still a couple types of ballots not included in that. Military and overseas ballots, which still can arrive days after, provided they're postmarked on election day or earlier. They're not even back yet. So you can't count them on election night, except for the ones that have been returned back.
Approximately how many do you expect? Is it 20,000, 25,000?
I really don't have, I really don't have an estimation for that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But they all will be postmarked on or before election day. I can't predict how many there would be or not. I can get.
Okay. I wanted to go back though. You said something. Will you publicize? Will somebody publicize how many votes are still left to be counted, mail-in ballots, for example?
We do. Pennsylvania Department of State will now publicize at soon midnight the total number of mail ballots.
Perfect.
And that way you at least know how many ballots there are left to count. And I think that was not knowing that piece of the puzzle was something that I think contributed to undermine confidence in results in 2020. That you still have like lots of ballots to count, but you don't know how many. And it wasn't that 2020 wasn't safe and secure. It was just like a piece of information that the counties were not prepared to share, that they'll now be prepared so that all Pennsylvanians will know how many ballots there are left to count, except for provisionals and except for military.
And you know, I have to say that you made my day with that. We're going to know that at midnight then. That is big information, Al. So we asked your office to come up with a couple of broader things or from the first time around with you that you wanted to emphasize or talk about. So what is in your mind today?
You know, I think one of those things is, you know, like elections have changed a lot and people have questions and we need to answer their questions. It's not you can't answer when are you going to know when are you going to know who won or who lost. That is up to the voters, and that all depends on the margins for every election. And that it's not a delay in Pennsylvania. It does take time to count votes.
Okay,
but that doesn't mean you're going to have to wait until Saturday. But you could wait till later if the race is decided by, you know, like 100 votes or whatever the situation was in Florida in 2020. But it's a matter of expectations. You don't want them too high, you don't want them too low, but you want them realistic. And that like the window of time between when the polls close and the race is called is a period that I know I experienced and many others did, where there's tremendous strain on the system, and it really creates an environment where conspiracy theories can thrive and undermine confidence in our democracy, which I think all voters in our republic, I think all voters should have in Pennsylvania.
Al, one parting question, and thanks. I know. What's the county you haven't visited, by the way? Are you going to be jetting over there out of the 67?
Well, you'd never guess it. It's actually Philadelphia. The whole where I live on the weekend with my family. The whole point of these visits is to learn from them.
Yeah.
And to learn, like, I ran elections in Philadelphia for 10 years. I know a lot about running elections in Philadelphia and the challenges that they face, but a lot less so about Tioga County, a lot less so about Elk County or Forest or Wayne or wherever else. So it was really about us learning from them so that we can help our county partners overcome whatever challenges they face. Every vote in Pennsylvania is precious, not just in Philadelphia, but everywhere. So Philadelphia is actually the best county for me to visit.
Parting area for you. We saw law enforcement, because what happened to you, I would have had 100 FBI people on that to track down death threats to anybody, kids and that type of stuff. They acted with this guy allegedly from Roxborough threatening this poll worker training person in the western part of the state. I'm going to kill you, allegedly, skin you alive. I'm glad to see that. But we had this threatening letter that went out to a lot of Trump officials or people that supported Trump and others in southeastern Pennsylvania. You talked about the task force that you're on and violence and intimidation. It's going to be very sensitive to that. Have you seen the letters, and do you have any comment on them of what's happening?
Any threats targeting our voters, our poll workers, our polling places, our county election officials, or anyone involved with elections or campaigns, when we become aware of them, we refer them to our partners in law enforcement at the federal, state, and local level. I only know what I've read about that case. It sounds pretty terrible. I'm glad it was taken seriously. There's really no room for any of that when it comes to voting. I mean, we have elections are contentious, right? That's how they work. They're competitive and all the rest. But there's no room for threats of violence or intimidation targeting people or their families by anybody.
So, Al, two things in that letter you believe then has gone to law enforcement, the one we've seen in southeastern Pennsylvania.
That's my understanding.
Good. What website would you send us toward? And again, I just wanted to emphasize again that I have this right, that we're going to get a report. We'll know how many mail-in ballots, not the other things, but just the mail-in we're talking about, are still left to be counted, at least a ballpark, around midnight on election night. That is a big breakthrough. That was good foresight from the last time around.
Yeah, I think it will be a big help. I would encourage people to go to our website, which is vote.pa.gov. And you can, if you're going to apply for a mail ballot, you can do it that way. If you want to find out where your polling place is to vote in person on election day, you can go to that website. And any updates, including that 1201 report that I mentioned, or the report stating how many mail ballots there are still left to count, you can find all that information on our website. And I would also encourage them to go to that to see statewide election night results.
Enjoy the visit to Philadelphia. And Al, thank you. Maybe we can talk before the election again. I know my phone is blowing up. There's plenty of material out there. And again, that reform, the Midnight Report, is a big deal. I haven't heard that in the media, and I'm very glad to tell people about it.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to speak with you and with your listeners today.
Thank you, Al Schmidt. Thanks, Secretary. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
All right, there is the Secretary of State, Al Schmidt. We'd love to get your instantaneous reaction. Dan, neither of you guys were on election night, though. Was with Rich Zioli in 2020. Yeah, Henry, you had a comment. Yeah. Okay. We can't hear you. All right. So thanks to Henry and Dan. Okay with them. Thanks to Henry and Dan for putting this together with his staff. Again, he's very busy. Thanks to all the people that sent questions. We'll see if we can get them on one more time. I know there'll be more questions. You heard what he said about the Shore system. You heard what he said about that letter, southeastern Pennsylvania. And you heard what he said about the report at midnight that we'll get. Now, I'm not sure of the station coverage on election night. I know we're doing something. We'll have all the details soon around that, but I'm going to be watching for that report at midnight. I was on with Rich. You know the scenario. We're both saying, all right, Trump's ahead. We thought he would be. What's the mail-in ballot? Then suddenly the count stops. And then gradually in 2020, you saw how it played out. And then people get worried. Philadelphia's holding back vote. You know, the whole thing associated with this. I don't think you're going to see the same scenario this time around. I told you what the prediction is. But this is a brand new world here that there's still a lot of difficulties with. All right, here's how you get in, though. And, Dan, you have a chance, your answer to the side question, since you proposed it. Nancy Grace's birthday, what's your answer?
Yeah, well, it was Nancy Grace. She's one of them. But
Yeah.
it's going to hurt me to say this one. Someone I'd be okay with not hearing again or hearing publicly from is Howard Stern.
Oh, that is a wonderful
And I
answer.
say that because I have such an image of Howard still built up that's beginning to sully because of all these political things he's doing, that if he were just to cut it out now and I could have the memory of what it is up to this point, I could leave with good memories still. But if he continues down this path, it's really getting bad. And I'd be okay with not hearing his voice again.
That would be one of the winning answers, without a doubt. All right, so it doesn't have to be. Don't say Nancy Pelosi. We're tired of the Hillary. You know what I mean? We're looking for something a little bit different. I said Nick Sirianni. I don't want to ever hear the man speak again. Coach football games, it's brutal, Dan. To hear it, it's just brutal.
Plant a seed, grow a flower.
Yeah, it is endless. How do they put up with this stuff? Jotting down every word. All right, your reaction, though, to Al Schmidt, Secretary of State. Linda Kerns seems to concur that this Sure system wouldn't be the type of thing affecting votes on Election Day, but it does raise the issue of what if something like this happens? Wow, what is going to go on here in Pennsylvania? 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All I need you to do is just push pound 1210, and we'll get you on board with Dom on Talk Radio 1210.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
I'm Tahisha Way, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, with a message for New Jersey voters. You have 3 voting options in the general election. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. Vote early in person Saturday, October 26th through Sunday, November 3rd. Or apply for, complete, and return a mail-in ballot. Whatever you choose, vote by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. Details at vote.nj.gov.
Message. The world was a lot different in 2006. No smartphones, no electric cars. This is how we connected to the internet. And back then, Bob Casey wasn't siding with the far-left liberals. But nearly 2 decades in Washington has changed Bob Casey. Now, Casey's voted to let biological men compete against our girls in their sports, and supported letting biological men into girls' bathrooms and locker rooms. Letting men change next to our girls? That's insane. Worse, Casey introduced a bill to force hospitals to perform sex change operations. Forcing hospitals to perform sex changes against their beliefs? What is Casey thinking? On top of it all, Bob Casey voted to raise middle-class taxes. Your family struggles, but Casey, he's for they, them. Bring normal back to Washington and fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
I seen fire, I seen rain, seen the sunny days that I thought.
All right, Dom Giordano Show, 855-839-1210. So we have the ongoing, but the media is allowing them to escape, saying Trump is Hitler or Hitler-like or Mussolini. They just say a fascist, which is one of the most nebulous terms imaginable. I mean, I know that Dinesh D'Souza has written 3/4 of a book on just defining what that is. And the main thing is Mussolini taking over control of industry, authoritarian, all that. Does that sound like Trump? They're really wanting to say Hitler. Hitler's going to take over the system just like Nazi Germany, 1933. You're going to repeat that. And they need to be prodded to say that if that's what they believe, or to say it's not that. We didn't get that in Delco last night. Also, we had Harris not able to answer any kind of question that talked about a mistake she may have made. We'll play you some of that. It was the usual stuff. And Anderson Cooper pushed a little bit last night, and so did the people in the town hall. And she just still is unable to handle any of that stuff. It's an obvious thing. Best tweeted today in some regards. Mark Penn, Dan, he used to be the pollster for Hillary Clinton in 2016. He had written a book that Hillary was going to win because he was going after micro segments like sowers and left-handed bowlers, stuff like this. I'm not making it up.
Left-handed bowlers?
Yes, and I had him on because I remember it. The Phillies at that point were, I don't know, it was the playoffs. I was on with Dalton from the ballpark. But I did the interview with him prior, because I was on 9 to noon, with Mark Penn. Here's what he wrote, though. Heading into the final stretch, Trump is on the offense. Relaxed, going to Al Schmidt dinners and McDonald's.
Al Schmidt dinners?
Al Schmidt dinner. Yeah, why don't you say Smith? Wait a minute. No, it
is Al Smith.
It is Al Smith.
No, it's Al Smith, not Al, but Al Schmidt was just on the show.
And McDonald's. Seeking core Catholic and working class voters. Harris seems on defense, working to regain black voters and just calling Trump a fascist. Yeah, it's a tell of what the campaign does and where they're going, of what's happening with them, of what their polling indicates. And the polling indicates at this point, I've seen stories where they think electorally Trump could do really well and win by, across the 7 states, small margins in the 7 swing states. And that could happen, 7 for 7, but small margins. Another tell, the Harris campaign is making a massive buy of ads on Philly's biggest R&B and hip-hop radio stations. I mean, wouldn't that be the home court advantage, really, for Kamala Harris? Apparently not. They're shaky on that. We know they're shaky on that. And that's the reason why they're making those kind of buys. All right, the takeaway from me, from Al Schmidt, though, is, and I was unaware of that. Now I still have 25 questions left here. I'm not going to just shotgun them with them. It's a normal conversation. But, Henry, you take it. If his guys can, I get them back like, I guess the Friday, a week from Friday or a week from today would be good. Getting him on the Monday before the election, that's going to be a little bit hard to imagine. He answered several things today, though, and there's this provision. At midnight, we will get the report, an action report, stating how many votes are left to be counted, meaning mail-in ballots, at that point. Now, what's the value of that? Well, it will give us a universe so that you know where we're headed. And if we use the Chirac formula, Guy Chirac, it'll give you a pretty good idea of who's ahead and really who's going to win. We know what the Republican figures are in mail-in ballots, pretty much. They're up about 5 percentage points or more since 2020. So if we know across the Commonwealth how many votes, mail-in ballots, are left to be counted, we can do the math and we can go, oh boy, this is looking good. Or we can say, oh, this is going to be razor's edge. And you know who's got a brilliant column today? I'm going to be watching this on election. Now, my eye is on the big prize. Josh Shapiro, big columns today. What if Harris wins Pennsylvania but loses the presidency? Guess who will be the number one Democrat then? It will be Shapiro. What if she loses both? Well, then he's not such a golden boy. What if she wins the presidency but loses Pennsylvania? Oh, man, they're going to blame Josh Shapiro. Will he fire back and say, if you had tagged me in rather than Walz? That's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out with Shapiro. Is he really going all out? I'm not sure about that. All right, let me go to, let's see. All right, let's go to Bill in Bucks County. And Bill, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Good afternoon, Bill. What's your follow-up question?
Okay, my follow-up question is, if we only knew the ratio of Democrats and Republicans on that midnight report, 4 years ago, the Bucks County Board of Elections was very transparent, and they did a Facebook posting of how many ballots there were, who was Republican, who was Democrat, and who was non-party. And that way, when you saw that it was 90,000 Democrats and 35,000 Republicans, you knew that everybody pretty much going to vote along party lines. So Trump won the day of Election Day in Bucks County 4 years ago, but he lost election week.
Well, look, we have a pretty good thing. We know it's around 29 to 30% of Republicans, and we know it's about 70 potentially, but then we have the independent we got to figure in and which way they go. But with that midnight report...
I would just say half and half.
Yeah, with that midnight report, we're not going to say...
That's going to be key. If we know the number of R's and D's and independents that did that,
right,
then we'll really know that night, really calculated, that we'll figure out who it really won.
Well, we'll have
instead of waiting until Saturday.
Yeah, we'll have a pretty good shot at that night, unless something happens with all these other ballots. You're right, Bill. All right, who's the person?
By the way, I'm going to work Election Day as an election official, and in a balanced precinct in a toss-up county. So we'll see how that goes.
Very good. All right, who's the person you don't want to hear so much from?
I think we heard enough from Angelo Cataldi.
I couldn't differ with you more. I let you say it, but that's preposterous. That guy shouldn't be on the sideline. My God. Yeah, we should get him back on, Bill, just despite that call. All right, 855-839-1210. So Trump is a fascist. Well, what does that mean? It should have been Anderson. Well, he asked her, is he a fascist? So he should have defined it, I guess. Or are we saying he's Hitler? He's Hitler coming up. She's in Philadelphia now, taking questions. Dan, is there something about her calling for a hit on Trump or something? I have not seen that. You let me know if you have. I don't know what that's about. 855-839-1210, though. That's how you get on board. 2 o'clock hour, we're going to update you on this story that's gone national because I've been talking to people about it. The ice cream truck in Montgomery County going to the county prison. Have the judges said they're going to stop that? Now, you heard Linda Kerns say she researched it, and it's only 2 people there, apparently, that are going to get ballots or can have ballots or don't have. 2 people, and this guy's taking a $143,000 vehicle. And a staff of commissioner out there, 8, 10 people on taxpayer dime to go to that stupid prison with this? Now, doesn't that seem to be out of proportion? Linda said, yeah, what about some veterans posts? Shouldn't they be the top priority people that serve the country, right? Shouldn't they go to every one of those first? But shouldn't the prison be the last place you go? Yes. Can we name a place that should be the last place in priority that vehicle ought to go? I would say the prison. I can't think of any other place that I would send it. Number one ought to be VFWs. 855-839-1210. All right, jump on board here on Talk Radio 1210.
Are you working out, eating healthy, and doing all the right things and still struggling to lose weight? Don't get frustrated. Get answers. You could be having difficulty because of your metabolism. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach, revealing how your diet and lifestyle fit into the bigger picture of how your body burns carbs and fat, allowing you to develop a game plan and see results. Go to lumen.me right now for 30% off. With just one breath, Lumen offers insight into what's happening with your body and promotes optimal metabolic health for easier weight management, improved energy levels, and better fitness results. Go to lumen.me today and get 30% off. Plus, listeners can get an additional 15% off by using promo code Radio55. That's promo code Radio55 at lumen.me to get an additional 15% off your first purchase today. LUMEN.ME, promo code Radio55.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles.
Highly logical.
Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Hi, this is Joe Meterchick, PNC Bank Regional President. Sticking to the fundamentals and not wavering from the game plan is a great philosophy for football and banking. And for nearly 160 years, our dedicated local PNC teams are in formation to help fans receive sound and reliable personalized financial advice to get them across the goal line. Because, as we see it, a win for them is a win for the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville, PA. Saturday, November 1st with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Weather is sponsored by United Tire.
A cold front has passed through the Delaware Valley, allowing for a cooler air mass to return. Plenty of sunshine and breezy today with a high near 70. Tonight, chilly, mostly clear, low 43 for the city and colder out in the suburbs. And a cooler day on Friday, plenty of sunshine with a high 67.
Do you need a pumpkin spice oil change? No. What you need is the best price on name brand tires. United Tire is doubling every manufacturer's rebate. If tires have a manufacturer's $100 rebate, you save $200. UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, it is Dom time. I'm reading during the break an Inquirer Google breakdown. I think it's the 6 most asked questions they found in Google Analytics about the election. One of them was, I think the most asked, what day is the election on again? Oh, my God. A biggie, though, that might have some political ramifications. What is fracking? What is fracking? All right, so just a little exercise there. All right, we're talking about the visit by Al Schmidt. We had the Shore system today with early voting and all that go down. I think it was like an hour and a half, roughly, and it portends all the things that are bubbling out there. Big news, he said, we'll get an election night report of how many of the mail-in ballots are still at midnight left to be counted. That's going to be interesting. I want to be on when we get that number. I want to do a big drawing, big fanfare, and the whole thing to hear that with you. And then we'll be able to make some kind of judgment about where we're going here in Pennsylvania. All right.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, Dan will be here at midnight with me to do that. He wants to put a cot out here so we have that election result.
There's some hotel rooms in the building.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a fitness place we could be working out, Dan, as we're waiting for it to come in.
Yeah.
Then call us back up.
Right into Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And Mark Cuban.
So we're starting to hear, the guy out of Montgomery County even, there's more thought now that we might know in Pennsylvania, say by Thursday. I may have to move the over and under down a little bit. But we also have this vague stuff. Just spit it out, VP Harris. Is Trump a Hitler to be? Let's stop with the fascist stuff because, again, it's such a nebulous term. A dictator like Hitler, Hitler light, Hitler. Let's get them to go on record saying that more rather than this fascist stuff. All right, let's go to Robert in Ben Salem, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert, welcome in.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys today. I honestly don't think they know what the meaning of fascist is, to be honest with you, because if they did, they would realize that the Biden administration is the closest thing we've ever been to fascist, forcing companies to do their bidding, controlling and manipulating the media, punishing their political opponents. Those are hallmarks of fascism, and that's what the Democrats are doing right now, on top of lying about everything else.
Well, right. Now, the National Socialist Party, the word socialist is in there for a reason. I mean, that's what they did. They they're arguing. You know what they were like? They were like FDR, of course, with the authoritarianism, building all this stuff, the roadways and all, to get out of their depression. But that's what they believed in. More than anybody, they were socialists.
Mussolini was a socialist as well. In fact, the only right-wing true dictator, fascist that I can think of in our history was Pinochet down in Chile.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's about the only one I can think of, too. Yeah.
It's all on their side, and they keep lying about that. Like Kamala just last night said, Trump's only completed 2% of the wall. It's 458 miles of wall down there. He's done almost half of it. And they just keep repeating these. I've never seen such a lying campaign in my life, Dom, and I don't know if you agree with me.
Well, you know what? I think it's incompetence in the media, too. We played that Mickey Sherrill saying, well, Trump would be Hitler because he's already had experience with the Nazi Charlottesville. Is the host that deficient that they don't know that's been thoroughly debunked again and again and again? My guess, Robert, is they are that deficient. It's not always smart people with an agenda in the media. There's dumbness, too.
Yeah, but there can't be that many stupid people in one entity. I know that there's brains behind this, but they're miscalculating. But I don't want to take too much time. The person that I got tired of listening to a long time ago was Bob Costas. I know you didn't want us to get political, but if you think about it, everything that guy talks about, he sounds like a putz.
No, and it's not just political. He's a blowhard. He's too grandiose. And he was a guy, when he broke in, I don't know about you, that I thought he was pretty good, a little bit different. But the evolution of him, you're right. And the moment is when that guy committed suicide that played for the Chiefs, and he went on national TV attacking gun ownership.
Yep. Absolutely. You're right, Tom. But I'm loving the show. You guys have a great day, man.
Thank you, Robert.
Do you listen to Costas in that Yankees-Royals series?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, bad.
It's
pontificating.
He doesn't know he's watching anymore.
Yeah, he's pontificating it's beyond the sports thing. And again, when he first came up, I thought he was a little bit different than some. And if anything, my first thought with football, we're seeing this weekend too, Henry, I got to say, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. I know how people make their peace. Tua is going to play again. And all the talk is, he's had concussion. It's not that. It's the everyday pounding that results in CTE. So how in the world can Tua be allowed to go out there? I would let him. I'm a libertarian on this. But how are we watching a guy who's already damaged, I think, beyond belief?
But I think it's not a one-size-fits-all with these concussions. You know, obviously they look bad in the moment, but you don't know how that actually affects their brain. Like, obviously,
I think we do.
That's what I'm saying. It's not concussions aren't one-size-fits-all. Some are worse than others. Some are. And we don't know how it affects him personally. What if it were a different person getting hit, like say his backup Skylar Thompson?
Yeah,
like maybe it would affect him a little different. But Tua seems to have, I don't know, a strong neck or something where the doctors feel like, hey, you can go out there and play. We don't see any damage.
I think it's all about money. Yep. He wants to play. They don't want to pay him to sit out. So.
Well, we can go with another quarterback who just had to hang it up. North Carolina State's quarterback, Grayson McCall. He just had to hang it up because he got rocked earlier in the year, and he's had a history of concussions. That was someone who needed to because the neurological people were like, "Hey, dude, enough's enough. We're seeing damage."
I'm not a neurologist,
on the line,
but I know about this.
He was an NFL quarterback. He would have been.
I would be shocked, sadly, if Tua doesn't have great difficulty, and it's 30 to 35% are going to have massive difficulties. So, seeing a guy out there engaged in this again, that's tough. I couldn't watch that every week. How about you, Dan?
It's tough to watch Dolphins games at this point.
Well, I meant
just Dolphins.
Who was not throwing the ball?
No, I meant seeing a quarter. Say this was the Eagles quarterback. Seeing this every week, this guy going out there.
No, I'd have trouble watching it. I got to be quite honest. Recently, when Tua was in prime time and he got that most recent injury, Maisie and I were sitting there like, I feel wrong morally watching this guy essentially ruin his life. And to your point, to what Henry was saying, or to what you were saying to Henry, I should say. When you have a situation here where it's if he chooses to hang him up, he doesn't get money versus a team. If the team forces him to hang him up, they got to pay out on the contract. So you got a team who has tens of millions of dollars on the line that they got to essentially force this guy to play, and Tua's got to force himself to play until the team says, look, you got to hang him up, dude, and he gets the payout.
I think he wants to,
crappy situation.
I think he wants to, too.
I don't think anyone's being forced.
Well, he doesn't get the money if he hangs it up. He doesn't get the money.
I don't think it's about the money. I think it's something. It's the game. He was born to play, and he's going to keep playing.
Well, it was like $100 million or more, I think, too. So I think doctors, it's an area where they can say, well, look, that's just my judgment.
Regarding your question, though, I don't have trouble watching other games. It's just Tua in particular. I think this case is...
And he's not even wearing the protective helmet.
No, but those helmets, I mean, are not made for what's Tua's suffering.
Well, I would agree. I mean, I would advise him to quit, but...
do a combo of that helmet with what he's got. You see, he does have a specific helmet designed for impact to the ground, not with another player.
Right.
But combine them together. I mean, just stay off the... Pay the guy out. Let him go retire and have a good life.
I would agree.
And okay. I would if anyone's forcing anything, I as a team would force a guy into retirement at this point. Because I don't want the liability of a guy laying on the field his whole life changed and my logo's on his helmet.
All right.
Does that go for everyone with concussions, though?
No, a guy that's every time the guy goes down, the entire fan base of the NFL is cringing at this point.
I don't think they are. I think people don't care, basically. And he gives them a better shot to win by far in Miami. So I think they're looking at it that way. It's not like other sports. Other sports you can get hurt. This is, to me, a little bit different. But it's America's sport, so that complicates things big time. There's no doubt. All right, 855-839-1210. We'll talk about it on Monday if he plays on Sunday. He's playing, right? I think he is.
He's trending that way.
Okay, trending that way. Okay. More coming up at 855-839-1210. The NBA is back in FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. They want you to catch all the action because right now FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do is watch every tip-off and buzzer beater in place. Any $5 bet on the NBA. And we're talking, oh, man, the Sixers last night. Don't even know what I bet on. Maxey looked great, but shots didn't fall. Henry, did you lose or win anything last night?
I actually won last night. Not on the Sixers, though, on the Flyers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sixers were close. I needed Maxey to score 5 more points.
So much for those 3-pointers from the one guy.
Yeah, McCain didn't end up playing. So.
It was tough from the bench to throw them up. All right. If you're new to FanDuel, just think of all the parlays, all the things that you could play. Go to FanDuel.com/Dom to get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel. Make every more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT at the 21+. Present in Pennsylvania. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
This is going to be epic.
Former president's going to have a podium.
Okay, I did not know this.
Yeah.
All right.
I probably should have warned you, Sean.
Are we going to have bulletproof glass?
It's an FOP lodge, so there's going to be a lot of cops. So
Very nice.
I think you're going to be fine.
You'll be well protected, sir.
This is a technological miracle if we can pull this all off. We shoot for the stars here.
Polymarket has over-under at 1.5 crashes on tech issues, but we will see.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Attention thrill seekers! It's the Monster Truckload Hot Tub Sale at Springdance Hot Tubs. With deals so monstrous they'll send shivers down your spine. Save up to $5,000 on hot spring and Caldera hot tubs. Plus, the excitement continues with bonus accessories worth up to $3,000. Salt system, insulated cover, and more. But beware, these monster-sized deals are only here until October 27th. Don't miss your chance. Visit Springdance Hot Tubs at springdancehottubs.com before these deals vanish for good.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtua Health.
Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I thank them for keeping me alive.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
And Virtua is one of the best centers in the country for minimally invasive orthopedic surgery.
I had the hip replacement of the future. I'm back, baby.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
All right, it is Dom Giordano show, 855-839-1210. Let's go to Leslie in Bryn Mawr. Hey, Leslie, afternoon.
Aloha.
Aloha.
You're going to think I'm crazy.
But yesterday, so over the years when Trump was in the White House, anytime the Proud Boys came up, they said that Trump was dog whistling to them to go out and hurt people.
Right.
Kamala Harris basically did that yesterday. She came out of the White House, stood on the, a side door, made a ridiculous speech about how he, loves Hitler, that he'll be a dictator. He expects the military to only answer to him and be loyal to him, on and on and on, and then turns around and walks back in. You would have to agree that the rhetoric that came from the left is what inspired people to shoot at Trump twice already.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That's why I said if I were Anderson Cooper, he did ask the fascist question, but that's not good enough. I would have drilled down. Next question would have been, is that fascist like Hitler? Something like that. Third question would have been, you realize this is a motivating force out there saying this stuff and rising to that. I would have, you know how I feel about ever calling anyone Hitler. I would have made that comment. How does that rise to that level? I would have boxed her in as best you can to keep on going with that metric. You're saying Hitler, A, what it causes, but B, how dare you say that? There is nothing like Hitler out there. You just can't rise to the level or stoop to the level of Hitler.
Exactly. But nobody seems to be holding her, well, I guess that's just the way it is, to the same, bar that they held Trump with the Proud Boys.
Yeah, well, of course. And again, the town hall.
It's insane for her to stand there and say all this, and she knows there's thousands of crazies out there with guns to, and then not take a question from the press.
Well, this is going to be the
She
play.
Came out, said her piece, put the hit on him, turns around and walks away.
I hear you, and this is what their polling indicates to them, what they believe. And I don't think the polling could indicate this. It hasn't worked up until now that the Kelly thing is going to put them over the top. I don't know if Kelly will go on TV and say it. They're going to try to push that envelope with it and think, what else do they have other than abortion? So that's what we're down to, Leslie. It's a tell. The upside is it's a tell that this is the thing they need to do. Nothing else is going to stop Trump. Who's your person you don't want to hear from?
I don't want to hear from the five Harold Ford again. He is, I said to Henry, he is like a hate has no home here sign sitting at the five table. Constantly virtual signaling.
Yep, thank you. He is. Tarlo, I know some people I think is very good, and if I had a five panel, I'd want her on there to mix it up. Harold Ford doesn't mix it up. It's tapioca. It's vanilla. Juan Williams is a lot better than this guy. That's a good one. Subtle, but a good one. All right, coming up, we're going to talk with a young guy, I think he's 28, running for the state Senate in Pennsylvania in an area that is a hotbed in this election cycle, Northeast Philadelphia. Joe Picos is going to join us. He's running against that great legislator, Jimmy Dillon. Or is it a Marshall Dillon? Or is it another Dillon? I forget which Dillon it is. We'll ask him about his campaign, and we're going to get you an update on what happened with the lawsuit around the ice cream truck in Montgomery County going to the prison tomorrow. Linda Kerns tells us research indicates there might be two people there that could get ballots to vote in the election. Why do that then? Why not go to VFW posts? Come on, Montgomery County. Is Montgomery County worse than Philadelphia now? $143,000, 8 to 10 people going out there for this. Shouldn't that be the last place you'd be going? The very last place after you ran out of everything else? All that straight ahead. Talk Radio 1210.
Odyssey's I'm Listening is our commitment to more mental health conversations. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, call 988 for support.
I'm a crisis counselor with 988. We all want to be heard, understood, and cared for. I want them to know that they're being heard or care for you. I want you to be okay.
Talk saves lives. Visit imlistening.org. Presented by the 988 Lifeline and the Philadelphia Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services.
Too many people are experiencing suicidal crisis or mental health-related distress without support. But there is hope. The 988 Lifeline helps people who are struggling to overcome mental health-related issues. It's okay to not be okay. The Philadelphia Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services is here for you. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, call 988 for support. Trained crisis counselors are standing by. That's 988.
Got a roofing problem? Don't let it ruin your day.
Emmons Roofing and Siding offers professional roofing services, from repairs to complete lifetime warranted replacements.
And you can trust our experienced team to keep your home safe and secure. And we can even handle insurance claims for you.
Give us a call today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on the web at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire the largest injury firm in the world for your injury case? Let me count the ways. Your case will be handled by your lawyer, a paralegal, and a case manager who's always in the office for you when your lawyer's in court. There's also a 24-hour hotline if you ever have a question or a problem. We've collected over $20 billion and won a lot. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Tahisha Way, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, with a message for New Jersey voters. You have 3 voting options in the general election. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. Vote early, in person Saturday, October 26th through Sunday, November 3rd. Or apply for, complete, and return a mail-in ballot. Whatever you choose, vote by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. Details at vote.nj.gov.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Before we go to our guest, just one note. The point I'm drilling down on, Anderson Cooper asked the question of Kamala Harris last night, well, is Trump a fascist? That's not good enough. That's not what they're really saying. So the question Republicans have to keep on putting out there, demanding the answer, are they saying he's like Hitler or Stalin or Mussolini? Go through those. The fascist thing is like, fascist, what? You know what? And it's just a nebulous. I've always hated it because it has a very specific meaning, but no one seems to be able to peg it exactly. And Trump, one element of state control of industry. How in the world does that apply to Trump? So if you want to say he's Hitler, he's going to do things like Hitler. Let's hear it. Let's get you on record on that. All right, Joe Picos, I believe, is 28, 29 years of age, running a fierce race in Northeast Philadelphia, which is the one area of the city, I would argue, that there are political shots, but more importantly, there's a way of life there that is being fought over. I mean, when you hear people say they want to bring the subway up to Northeast Philadelphia, there's a lot of objection there because places like Mayfair, we've used Mayfair almost as if it were Mayberry. Now, it wasn't like Mayberry in the Andy Griffith Show, but it was a great middle-class icon, and it's under siege. Crime, difficulties. Larry Krasner. Let's go to Joe Picos here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, welcome to the show. Thanks very much for joining us.
Dom, thank you so much for having me.
Joe,
I love that you brought up the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah. Well, Joe, have you lived in Northeast Philadelphia all your life?
Yeah, born and raised here. My family's been in the Northeast for over 50 years, and I just had a completely idyllic childhood here. Like, I love the analogy you used, kind of TV land, those old shows we used to watch, because that's what it felt like here when I was growing up.
And what section of Northeast were you in?
Born and raised in Somerton.
Oh, Somerton. Okay, now Somerton, look, you're the expert, Joe. You've lived there. I could tell you about South Philly, but my sense of Northeast Philadelphia is Somerton is somewhat preserved, but what I see is the decay year after year because of these policies from the rest of the city are moving up to the farther reaches of that. So where you grew up, how do you see that now?
Well, I'm beginning to see the changes in the warning signs. Just on face, you don't see as many kids playing outside anymore. Neighbors don't know each other the same way they used to. A couple months ago, we had a shooting on Bustle and Tomlinson. Three kids two were grazed, one was shot. That was unthinkable when I was growing up.
Yeah. And what do you see? Well, that's the problem. So what's your solution to it? What do you point to as the causal elements, and how do we solve them?
We'll start on the causal elements. I think there's just been a sort of decay in terms of governance here. I think a lot of the leaders are sort of apathetic. I think people just seem to say, oh, well, this is what happens. Holmesburg has become a place where people get shot now, where there's robbers. There's been this sort of dereliction of duty that I've seen from the political machine in Philadelphia. In terms of what we do, we need a lot more cops here in the Northeast. I think some of the policymakers view the Northeast as what it was, we were just talking about, what it was 30 years ago. And that's not the situation today. We need a much stronger police presence. We need a DA that's actually going to prosecute crimes instead of just letting criminals loose. We need to really revive our sense of community. We need to bring people together.
Yeah, you mentioned that too. And again, people not knowing each other, there has been a good thing. A lot of people want to live there. There's been a widespread of people that have come in. I would say in some ways, the places, I'm trying to think of an exact point, I would say you see people from all over the place, the number of Brazilians, the number of Dominicans, Russians of one sort. It is truly the melting pot.
We're in the most diverse part of the city.
Yeah. So that's the upside, but now bringing those things together is difficult. And Joe, you are how old? 28?
I'm 29.
29. I knew it was going up. So how did
I was 28 when the campaign started.
Oh, that's what it was. And I've seen you out there that you have roused a great number of volunteers. So how does a 29-year-old make an impact in this manner where, from what I can tell, against your opponent, Dylan, this is a fierce race right down to the end. Your policies would seem to fit Northeast Philadelphia, but the last time he won, we had the shooting death of Sean Toomey. There was another person we like running against him who said some of the things that you're saying, and yet there seems to be this in Northeast Philadelphia, just continue to vote for Democrats. Do you face that, and how are you addressing that?
I think this year is different. I think people are really ready for change. I've talked to so many people who are Democrats. You've said, I've been voting Democrat for 30 years. And this time, this isn't working. I want to give the Republicans a chance. They're not necessarily becoming Republicans, but they're saying, you know what, let's see what you guys can do.
How is it as far as you're too young to remember, but people have probably told you there was actually a guy who was great for talk radio. I was just breaking into it then, who had Northeast Philadelphia seceding from Philadelphia. At one point, we had the map, we had the whole thing going on, Joe. It was quite that's how long ago people have sensed that Northeast Philadelphia doesn't get fair treatment. And that's back when Northeast Philadelphia was not as crime-ridden, et cetera.
The reality is we get completely neglected, and I think everyone here feels it. And there's still a wide sentiment going back to what you're talking about. People just feel like we're left behind. There's so much investment in other parts of the city, and we're just an afterthought.
Yeah, well, when it comes to strip malls, we know it's a strip mall capital. That's my one impression of Northeast Philadelphia. There's a lot of economic activity. So, Joe, where do people go that want to support you, know more about you, and or volunteer? That's the one thing I've noticed with your campaign. The number of young people you've engaged in this is remarkable. Where do they go?
Well, yeah, just on a couple of the points you mentioned, with all the young people, I think that's really the answer, is getting new blood in the system. When you keep just putting the same people in there, when it's the same people just kind of moving around, it doesn't create any kind of environment that's conducive to change.
Well, Joe, but let me ask you to that point, do you work well with the Republican Party lead? I mean, the Vince Fennerty and the leadership and all, are you on board? You're okay with them?
I'm a big believer in Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, but I believe all Republicans in the city need to stick together.
Yeah, well, look, I know Ronald Reagan said that. I'm not running for office, so I'll say it for myself, but I think that's a large part of the problem. Let's face it, I'd like to see guys like you and several others that I know that are the young Republicans actually be in charge. And, of course, Martina we're big fans of her in a lot of ways, what she's done. So, Joe, where do you go for more things Joe Picos?
Sure. So you can check out my social media. We're Joe Picos, Joseph Picos on Instagram. Our website is www.votepicos.com. You can always just shoot me a DM on our socials. We get back to you pretty quickly. And I would close out with this, too. We've been elected for so long. If you want change here in the Northeast, this election will put the Northeast on the map and make sure we will not be ignored ever again.
Absolutely. It would be a shot across the bow of being taken for granted and the stranglehold of the Democrat Party. Joe, do you know who the last Republican mayor, I always love to ask somebody your age this, the last Republican mayor in Philadelphia?
Bernard Samuels.
Do you know who that was?
Bernard Samuels.
Yes, that's great. But do you know, too, that he was alive for 3 years while Billy the Kid roamed the earth?
Wow.
Yeah. So someday, Joe, if you become that Republican mayor, I'll be there to salute you. We're going to start with this Senate seat, though. We'll start with that and go from there, Joe. Thank you, Joe, and let's check in around Election Day.
I look forward to it. Thanks so much, Tom.
Joe Picos here on Talk Radio 1210. Yeah, I didn't want to get into it with him. He's running a straight-up campaign. The Dillon guy, though, my God.
Yeah.
Look, and these people in Northeast Philadelphia, Dan, we did that with Sean Toomey being killed, and they still turn around and vote. They just have to vote for Democrats. They're moderate Democrats. They're not progressives there, a lot of these people. I know them. Gallows, places like that, they tell me the difficulties they're facing. Why do you continue to vote for these people? Brendan Boyle's an example, that guy. He's a classic in North, the poser. Brendan, come back on the show. Remember how we had to get him on, the embarrassment years ago? My God. Okay, 855-839-1210. Good to see a guy like that running with a real good chance to win. Coming up, we're going to get you updated on the story that's gone national. Tom DeBello, who brought it to our attention, who's the minority, the Republican commissioner over in Montgomery County. He's going to go to the prison tomorrow if that van is there. They're going after 2 voters, according to Linda Kerns. 2. How much is it going to cost tomorrow for Montgomery County to do this spectacle? And I don't know if are they bringing ice cream? They have the truck. They got to have ice cream in there somewhere. If I weren't on the air, I'd love to have another van, Dan, following them and doing the show as we're following them, so I could see that guy poke his head out at the prison.
Is there going to be a file in that rocket pop they're bringing in?
Yeah, exactly. Can you see that with the Talk Radio 1210 van? You'd be driving, of course. I have to be bloviated.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I would not want to drive with you.
That's true. No, check that. I'd be doing the show.
No, you're not driving.
I have broadcasts from parades in a moving vehicle and all over a meeting and all, so it's no problem. It's easy to. Tommy McDonald's, easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah. But imagine following that guy. Well, we're taxpayers. We want to know what's going on. I'm telling you,
hop in a cab
that
and say,
guy
follow that van.
In Montgomery County, he is in my top 10. This guy, what he's up to. I'd love to follow him on Election Day just to see what he's up to. All right, right now, though, before more calls, it is time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Almost missed my cue.
Yeah, we are playing for a pair of tickets to one of our favorite spots, the ZLOC Performing Arts Center on the campus of Bucks County Community College. Pair of tickets to see the Brubeck Brothers Quartet on November 2nd All right, Dan, what do you have today?
Yeah, so the Brubeck brothers keeping the legend of their father alive, Dave Brubeck, the great pianist and composer. So I thought, Dom, let's go with a Brubeck cover of a very, very famous Disney song. And, you know, this is a little bit different because it's jazz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a clue. The clue comes in the bass line more than anything else. But Brubeck's here playing piano, and we want to know the name of this very famous song that hails from a very famous Disney film. We want to know the name of the song, here played by the Dave Brubeck Quartet, winning tickets for to go see his son over at Zlock. Take a listen.
This is going to be a hard one today, I think.
Let's just say that at one point, when we had Joe Sibilli as a producer, he actually covered this song and sang a dedication to Mike Pence. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we'll play that after the break as well.
All right.
We want to know what the name of this song is here that Dave Brubeck and his quartet are covering from a Disney film.
855-839-1210. You're off to the Zlock. Great spot there with a bar and everything. Is Bucks County, our favorite spot. Hit us with that. More of your calls coming up on everything else here, too, on Talk Radio 1210.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 5,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
I am a father.
I am a mentor.
I am a wife.
I am an artist.
I am a husband.
I am a friend.
I am a sports fan.
I am your neighbor.
I am a member of your church.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am a police officer.
Support your local law enforcement officials. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police. Visit partnersinpublicsafety.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
A lot of congressmen talk about real results, but Brian Fitzpatrick actually delivers for real people like Tom.
I believe that Congressman Fitzpatrick does have his finger on the pulse, does feel the needs of businesses, and recognizes what small businesses mean to Main Street America.
Janice.
I would say 100% that I support Brian Fitzpatrick for Congress. I know that he has our interests at heart. He's just really a man of great integrity.
And Pete.
Congressman Fitzpatrick is very responsive, especially to veterans' needs.
I can't think of any other person I'd rather see as my congressman than Brian Fitzpatrick.
Delivering for Pennsylvania. That's Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Vote on or before Election Day, November 5th. Paid for by America's Credit Unions PAC of Credit Union National Association, Inc., americascreditunions.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. America's Credit Unions PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The 2024 presidential election is here. With the race neck and neck and with so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground, and we're breaking down the numbers until every last vote is counted, providing you with insight on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, and listen to MSNBC Live on the free Odyssey app or wherever you watch MSNBC.
Dom Giordano, weekdays, noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That is exactly right. All right, kind of convoluted today, a little jazzy. Dan, what's the premise again? And we'll hear the clue.
Yeah, Don, we're playing for tickets to see the Brubeck Brothers Quartet, and those were the sons of the great Dave Brubeck, the pianist and composer.
Okay.
And Don, we have a great album of him covering some Disney songs, and one of the all-time great Disney songs is being played here by the great legend from jazz, and we want to know the name of this song that he's covering. And as you know how it works with jazz like this, sometimes it's a little sullied as to what the song might sound like, but you can kind of hear it in the bass line. Take a listen. We want to know the name of the song to win the prize.
All right, let's go to Donna in Malvern. I admit I wouldn't have gotten this. Donna, what is the song?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was not calling in for the song. I have no idea. I just wanted to make some comments and answer.
I'll put you. Okay.
Donna, call back.
Call back, Donna. Call back. It's okay. Tricia in Sicklerville. Tricia, afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's the name of the song?
Someday My Prince Will Come.
Oh, very nice. A Disney fan. All right, Tricia, enjoy the Zlock and the son of the great Brubeck Brothers Quartet. And Dan?
Yeah, Don, we used to have a great producer here, Joe Sibilia, who's now working with the Friars Club up in New York, and Joe Piscopo. He put together a song that was a take on, I don't know why he did this, because looking back, it's very outdated to a degree, because the irrelevance of the person that this is about. Take a listen. Here's Joe Sibilia covering Snow White's great Someday My Prince Will Come.
Someday Mike Pence will run when Donald's work is done, and away to the White House he'll go with wife Karen and Marlon Bundo.
Oh my God, the wife and the whole thing. Okay.
But we don't need
all righty. All right. Thank you. Joe Sibilia, all-time great. We'll get him on around the holidays.
Yeah, we got to get it back sometime.
All right. So Tricia's the winner. Nice job. Enjoy the Zlock. All right. Side question today. Someone you don't want to hear from again. Dan, really, I was on the Nancy Grace show at least double figures period of time, Dan. And behind the scenes, she was awfully nice. I get it. The facial, the hair, and the stuff that she did. But she brought a lot of people to justice, too, before it all kind of fell apart. So you offered up Howard Stern. I said Nick Sirianni, and I also said Sonny Hostin. All right, on The View. Just a hidden talent. Let's go to Luke in Bel Air, Maryland. Think he has a great one. Hey, Luke, good afternoon. Thanks for the wait.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah. What do you have today, Luke?
Love your show, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm a little far away, but so glad for the website. And anyhow, my vote is for Jerry Jones.
Yes.
I'm not even. I was saying to Mr. Call Screener, I'm not even a diehard Eagles fan, but Jerry Jones just needs to go away.
Oh, he does. The last week, too, with threatening those guys on the air. Unbelievable. Yeah. Can't happen quickly enough. Thank you, Luke. He's an example. When the owner takes, there's nothing more in the world when the owner takes over a team like this, the difficulty of dealing with them. And Jerry Jones is beyond grotesque, but the team is worth the most of almost any sports team. All right, so we're going to speak with Tom DeBello. Is he going to the prison tomorrow if the van is operational? As I told you, this Montgomery County Mr. Softy truck with the guy who is this new commissioner pushing the envelope on voting there, supposed to head to the prison tomorrow. We're told by Linda Kerns that there's only 2 ballots there, potentially, from what we hear. Just think about this, the insanity of it. Here's how to bill it. Why is this not going to a VFW post to make it convenient that way? I think I could give you the places where it should go, but this is last on the list. I don't know of any place worse that this should go than to the prison. If they have time and they're legally able to vote, yeah, maybe we'll get around to it. But we're going to go all the way to the prison to do this when they already have the ability to do it? People that might have committed horrific crimes, who knows? That's where they're going to go. That's the mentality of progressives. And Montgomery County is pushing the envelope on this stuff. This is the worst example of it. By the way, the big nugget from today, and tomorrow he'll be with us. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
sorry
fine.
about that.
Yeah,
That's my bad.
we got more time tomorrow. That'll be fine. If he set it up, does he know what time they're going to go over to the prison? Maybe we can get him on live from the prison as the Mr. Softy truck comes in. That would be good. So let's try to see if we can sync that. If we can't, that'll be good for tomorrow. It works out better. The nugget from today with Al
Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Wally today on that? You want Wally
Yeah,
today?
well, because we have the court decision.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
let's find out if there's a court decision, Dan, on it, or what happened. Then we'll get him on. Yeah, with Wally, yes. Al Schmidt, the Secretary of State, most important appointee, I think, in the country, with what's going to happen in Pennsylvania, told us change in the law from 2020 at midnight. We will get an update across the state. And if we're on the air here, I'll be able to tell you that. It's another incentive to be on the air then. I think that's when people are going to get edgy and you want to be listening. We'll get an update on how many votes have been counted, and we'll get an update, mail-in ballots, how many are still left to be counted. In other words, he said, and Dan, I don't know, it was a long interview. Do you remember the point? If we could pull it, have it for tomorrow, I want to keep playing that because I clarified it several times that we'll be told how many mail-in ballots are still there to be put into play, counted. That will give us an idea. So what's that going to tell us, Tom? Well, first of all, we'll know it's not an enormous number that we're going to hit be a tsunami. The Democrat Harris is down by 500,000 votes, and then suddenly she's ahead by 500,000. We're going to know, and we're going to be able to calculate. I'll have it in front of me based upon where we saw this stuff of where this is headed. It will give you, I think, a good sense of how close this is. I'm predicting at that moment in time, it's still going to be very close. I would be shocked if either person is ahead by 100,000 votes at that point at midnight. I'll be shocked. I can't imagine the scenario where that's the case. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see at that point exactly where we are, okay? So it was worth it to have him on, since that is something in all this minutia I didn't know about. And again, tomorrow we'll play that again back to you, the back and forth with him. Wasn't contentious. I'm glad he came on. All right, let me go to the Earl of Tacony on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Earl, welcome in. Yo, Earl. All right. All right. No answer from Earl.
I messed up, Earl.
That's okay. Call back, Earl.
Sorry, Earl.
Alan in Hamilton. Alan, afternoon to you. Go right ahead.
Bruce Springsteen.
That's a great answer.
Okay, tell us why. I mean, come on. It's all in the call.
Well, look, he was for the working man. He sounded like 30 years ago, but now he just the opposite. So I'm really sick of hearing them.
Yeah, I wonder, Alan, and I think you're exactly
Are you Bruce
right.
Springsteen, Alan? It sounds like you're on stage.
Yeah. I wonder if these people in those tank towns in New Jersey that he sang about, the working class, the lower middle class, are they still kidding themselves? He's singing their anthem, or is it just nostalgia? And you can't beat that. You know, he's latched on. I see him as a great performer, even though I despise, I witnessed it a lot. Dan can't even give him that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing.
Yeah, thanks. Dan, are you changing on that or no? You still can't see it.
He's all his music sounds the same. It runs together after 10 minutes. Well, maybe more than 10. 30 minutes.
Okay, so theory, why are these people still going?
Nostalgia.
Just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's plenty of nostalgia acts out there that don't succeed like this. I mean, this is one of the most successful of all time.
Like, why do you think doo-wop tours were so big for so long?
Not like this.
Yeah, but still, I mean, people would flock out to these theaters to go see nostalgic music.
Yeah, sure. Nostalgic music works. It takes you back to a point in your life that you make better than it was.
How about this? I'll argue status in New Jersey for a certain generation of women in particular to say to their friends, hey, did you go to the Bruce concert last night?
There's
status. You didn't? I did.
Yeah, I'm sure there's status. That's why I'm going to you. The hatred is coming through here.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm serious. That was a good point. There's status. There's nostalgia. You can't give that the guy is I place too much on all-out effort.
Look,
I'll admit it.
I'll also give camaraderie. How about that?
Camaraderie, okay.
Camaraderie of a Bruce Springsteen concert, because allegedly, I wouldn't know, but I've been invited many times now, especially by Anne-Marie Muldoon.
Right.
It's like you go out, you tailgate. It's a whole party. It's fun. You look forward to it. You put it on your calendar because you know that night you're going to get trashed in the parking lot, go listen to some great music. And
does he have more women than men?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a girls' night out type of thing that's associated with this.
Yeah.
It's just a different form of being a deadhead, right? You're just a Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, similar to that. Very similar. Well, we still don't know where he's going to perform on Monday night in Philadelphia, right? Unless I missed something. With Obama, with the other. I got to go and cover this. Okay, I have to.
Oh, wait. I think you just want to go see a Bruce Springsteen concert.
No, I've already seen it when he did the 20-gun salute to John Kerry. That was 20 years ago. That was enough for me.
Good enough, Bruce.
No, because I am going to bring some sound back from that. Why are you here tonight? Are you you're so enamored of VP Harris? And he's also doing it in Atlanta. I get here. I don't get Atlanta with him, but, I think that's tonight. All right, so we don't know the place he'll perform. I hope he does it over at Independence Hall again because they lost the last time they did it. So 855-839-1210. You get a line. Hit us on the side question. It's all in the telling. Yeah, Springsteen's a good one. I like Dan's the best, though, so far. Can you top that? Howard Stern. Really, really good. I took the low-hanging fruit with Sonny Hostin. Henry, a little review. Who was yours?
Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah, Ben Simmons and the contracts. I don't
want to hear anything about him this year. He's going to stop playing after January.
Yeah, I had a bet with our former boss here, Spike Eskin, that he would shoot 65% from the foul line. I lost that one. He never collected. He was a good guy about it. I mean, come on, 65% is not bad. Dan could shoot that.
Shoots with the wrong hand.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I don't know if I could shoot 65%.
I think you could.
I don't know.
All right. It's
pretty bad.
It's 855-839-1210, though. That's the line. That's how you get on board. We're going to talk about Wally Zimmerlong coming up. What happened with the federal case here? Can you imagine over the ice cream truck going to the prison? Did they rule it's okay or not? Hey, Halloween next week. Don't let mealtime or party planning frighten you. Call or just stop into your nearest Captain Chucky's. Pick up the fan favorite Smith Island Crab Cake Jumbo Lump. And don't forget the Mega Colossal Crab Cakes. Delicious. Time to stock up on those. Check out the variety. Getting into colder weather, sadly, but soups are unbelievable. That Maryland crab is my favorite. Perfect time, too, to check out all the offerings, sides, desserts, appetizers, key lime pot. They have it all at Captain Chucky's. And several big choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. They only use the highest quality ingredients. That Golf Shrimp is the other star. Huge hit, always wild caught, never farm raised. And then those Dom rolls. I'm told they go through a few thousand a week. Big item. Check out all these Captain Chucky's and the locations near you. Go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. And if you're headed to the shore, don't forget Captain Chucky's at the shore.com.
A cold front has passed through the Delaware Valley, allowing for a cooler air mass to return. Plenty of sunshine and breezy today with a high near 70. Tonight, chilly, mostly clear, low 43 for the city and colder out in the suburbs. And a cooler day on Friday, plenty of sunshine with a high 67.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Of course, we all need to save a little cash these days. Saving money on your utility bills is a great start. Sign up for the CNC Heating and Air Conditioning Maintenance Plan. Minimize the wear and tear of your system and lower your energy bills this winter. If your HVAC needs replacing, CNC makes budgeting for your new system a snap with 0% financing options. Schedule an estimate today with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York certified comfort experts. Start saving today. Visit cc-hvac.com.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano show. Headline on Fox. Trump runs on transgender issues in final stretch. Thank God. Thank God. Exactly what I've been calling for. And look, they're going to say, well, why are we not talking about inflation? We talked about inflation 50 million times. Why are we not talking about the border? Really? No. Final stretch. Hit this. It's the issue that breaks through with certain groups. I couldn't be more convinced of it. And I got a story that I'll give you coming up after our buddy Wally Zimmerlong, big-time attorney and working on the election almost exclusively right now and all kinds of things. He's been involved, and today we have an update on the ice cream truck going to the prison. We're told it'll be there at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Tom DeBello, commissioner in Bucks County and Montco, will be there with the prison, and we'll give you detail by detail, spending all that money to go for potentially, we're told, 2 ballots. Where does the prison rank if you're doing a test to say this ought to be across the board, that kind of convenience? Should it be convenient for prisoners? Why? Let's go to, how about the police precinct? How about going there, making it in the morning, cops come in and making it easy for them to vote? Does your mind work that way out in Montgomery County? Let's go to Wally Zimmerlong. Hey, Wally, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. What's your update?
Yeah, just before I give you the update, Dom, you're absolutely correct. What's going on to go out to this prison for 2 votes is emblematic of the progressive mind and why so many Americans feel like they have been forgotten, right? It is the progressives have completely forgotten about all of us, and they're using taxpayer money. They're facing a lawsuit to go retrieve 2 ballots. And what about everybody else? What about every hardworking person? What about people that are busting their butts overtime on a site. They'd like to have the van go out to their overtime project or at their plant or at their facility, the school teachers, the firemen, the cops. None of those people matter, right? And it also, don't get me started, it also goes into what I think you're absolutely correct is to hit this transgender issue head on. That's the issue. But
hey, I'm glad you got fired up and swerved in that. Nice work by you.
So we went. We had a status conference with the judge this morning by telephone. There's going to be a hearing on this Tuesday, October 29th at 1:30 in the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas. The county, for whatever reason, is digging their heels in on what I believe is a very reasonable demand by us that they simply give us 24 hours written notice, posted notice of where this van's going to be. As I explained to the judge, this is a matter of transparency. It's a matter of fairness. The public just wants to know where this van is going to be and what's going on. What's the big deal about giving 24 hours notice? We're not asking for a week. We're not asking for 2 weeks. We're asking for 24 hours notice. And for whatever reason, the county is refusing to commit to that. And in my experience as an attorney, if you're not agreeing to commit to something that is eminently reasonable, such as that, there's something going on, right? There's something going on. There's some reason they don't want to agree to that 24-hour notice. And I haven't figured it out yet, but I don't like it. So we're going to go forward on Tuesday at 1:30. We're going to present our arguments to the court, and we're requesting that the court order that 24-hour notice. Now, the county did commit today that all the locations as to where the van is going to be for the next week have been publicly noticed and are up on the website, but I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. But we want them to commit to 24 hours, and if they don't commit to 24 hours, we're prepared to proceed with the hearing before the judge on Tuesday at 1:30.
And while, the backdrop to this, I don't know if you can make it as a legal argument, you mean to say, out of the whole world, to your point, if this is supposed to be that everyone can vote, I would say in a manner where they don't have to kill themselves on Election Day, to your point, that convenience is it. We're going to go with prisoners. That's where our first thought process is after they went to colleges, which would be way down on my list. What about VFW post, where our veterans who served us are, to make it convenient? Or as you said, they have to know there are people that are working hard shifts. I was bloviating, but, people are actually working hard midnight to 8 in the morning. How about thinking of that if convenience is really what we're after here?
Yeah, I think my friends out in Springfield Township in the police department that are working the night shift, 12 a.m. to 8 a.m., they'd like the ballot truck to go to the police department so they don't have to, take time out of their day on Election Day or have to go after work to put their ballot in a mailbox or in a ballot drop box. The veterans is great. How many disabled veterans out there who gave life or limb, at least, for our country? I think they would like the ballot van to go to their house or their home to pick up their ballot. But no, we're gonna make sure the prisoners are taken care of and the snowflake college students. This is it's emblematic of the progressive mind. This is it. This is the progressive mind on display, and it's interesting that it's being highlighted about where they deploy this mobile services.
And Wally, let me ask you: it is the progressive mind. What do we make of it? If they were really doing this to try to help their side, you got to be a little bit more clever. No, this guy in Montgomery County is right down Broadway. We're going to the prisons, and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
It's exactly right. And it's all a publicity stunt for him. That's why, and he got caught doing it. That's why he went out, put on Twitter, I was the first commissioner that voted in Pennsylvania. Now, in doing so, he got his county sued because he forgot to test the ballots. It almost created a catastrophe, for crying out loud. Could you imagine if we didn't sue and catch them and make sure that they tested the ballots, and then all of a sudden on Election Day, they started running these ballots to the machines and there were jams, they didn't work, people didn't count in Montgomery County in a hotly contested election? He should thank us. He should be thanking the Republican National Committee for saving him from a catastrophe by making him test the ballot. And the reason he didn't test the ballot was he wanted to get his moment in the spotlight. He wanted to go on Twitter and tell everyone he was the first person to vote. I mean, it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable, and he's got to be put to a stop.
Well, Wally, great work as always. Keep us abreast of this on Tuesday. And you're right. If you're not going for a 24-hour written notice, what's up with that? Come on.
Absolutely right. And we're hoping the court sees it the same way.
Thank you, Wally. Have a great weekend. Thanks very much.
All right, Tom. See you. Bye.
All right, we're on it. Linda Kerns out there. Scott Presler. I asked Al Schmidt this. He'll be on Monday. And Wally Zimmerlong and Tom DeBello tomorrow over at the prison. This guy is really something. And Henry's been diligent to get him on the show. Henry, you can always tell them if they respond. I'll be in a straitjacket. I'll be in a booth. Dan has taped my mouth before. This guy can prattle on. He can tell us 5 minutes, uninterrupted, no interruptions.
I have never taped your mouth. I just
well, in my mind, you have. It's figuratively. Yes, I'll be in another room. Dan will be at the controls, and he'll go forward for 5 minutes and just say whatever he wants in his defense. And then I'll come back in, and then we'll get some real action here. Come on, buddy. Come on the show. Just come on the show and explain why disabled veterans, let's go to their homes. No, we're going to go to the prisoners to collect those 2 ballots. And everybody in America is going to see this guy. He's a star in progressive circles. What does that tell you about progressives? What does it tell you about the people in Montgomery County, too? Have they completely lost their minds? Not even Philadelphia is doing this. Think about this. Not even Detroit is doing this, as far as I know. Think about what that tells you about what's going on in Montgomery County. All right, I'll go there and tape you. We'll tape you in the truck. We can drive down the highway. Whatever your wishes are, but you're a coward. You don't want to do that. You just want to run over.
This is great radio. You in the truck?
Yeah, in the truck. Yeah, I've done. I go where the hostile territory. It's not hostile to me. I just want to see those 2 ballots tomorrow of these prisoners. And you know what, buddy? We're going to check out what they're in there for. And then we're going to let people know that too. Okay? 855-839-1210. How about veterans? Start that out there in Montgomery County. How about disabled? Valerie Arcouche was bad enough. This guy, though, wow. What is in the water in Montgomery County? Dan will know if he starts talking about Wayne Gretzky and he's got to go to the prison because that's where the puck will be, not where it was. That's what Valerie Arcouche's guy said. Henry, I wish you were there dissecting that with us. They said, well, COVID, we're going to close everything down because it's not here yet. But like the great Wayne Gretzky, you're not looking at the puck where it is, but where it's going to be.
Isn't that Michael Scott?
Yeah, that's Michael Starn. Yes.
Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. All right. We got the lightning round. We're going to get a winner here. It was a great side question today. Someone you would rather hear a whole lot less of. Let's talk about my friends at Martin Water Conditioning. They're celebrating their 51st big year with their annual anniversary sale. Now through the end of October, save on better water for your entire family. We've enjoyed crystal clear drinking water in our home for years, thanks to Martin Water Conditioning. It's a great opportunity for you to do the same. We love it. And the Martin Water Conditioning family is incredible to work with. Nobody is more passionate about showing those impurities coming out of your water. Save up to $500 on select systems for your home. Want to improve your drinking water? Martin's is offering $100 off their Kinetico K5 reverse osmosis system. If you purchase a water softener, you may be eligible for a free Kinex salt monitor, which is worth over $150. Special 18 and 48-month financing available to those who qualify. Save now through the end of October. Don't miss out. These details are mutually exclusive and won't last long. Visit martinwater.com for more details. Schedule that free water test today. That's martinwater.com.
Wayne Gretzky's analogy about hockey, that you don't try to head toward the puck, you try and head to where the puck's going to be.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Hi, this is Howard Eskin to talk about Jack Daniels, tailgating, and the birds. It doesn't get any better, so stop by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirit store and get game day ready with the original Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey, along with Jack Daniels Fire, Honey, and Apple, or grab a case of Jack and Coke or Jack and Coke Zero Sugar, now ready to drink in a can. Also available at select grocers. Jack Daniels, born for the tailgate, and please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV, Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and all the percent registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a registered trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Wawa's hot turkey is back, and it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets, because hot turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, that's exactly right. Hit us with that person you'd like to hear a whole lot less of. Let's go to Joe in Columbus. All right, Joe, who's your choice?
Hey, Don, first of all, I think the quality of vote that the left is trying to acquire tells the whole story.
Well, that's exactly right. Well, they know where their vote is. Let's go to the prison, not the disabled vet.
Yeah, people are going to make such an impact in our society, right? Don, I'm so fast, I could turn off the light and jump under the covers before it gets dark. My guy is the second coming of who he thinks is the second coming of Muhammad Ali, Stephen A. Smith.
All right, I'm fine with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
I once debated him about NBA basketball on the Lou Tilley show, and he was very generous because he was the expert at that point, so it was a good type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we know he's overexposed and all that.
I feel like a lot of times he just says stuff to say stuff to try to say stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think he's the worst. Though.
He believes he's always right.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, Scott in Mount Laurel. Scott, who's yours?
Hey, two quick things before my guy. One is I will personally work with Dan, and I'll get you to 70% from the line. Not a problem.
There we go. What do you think you can get me to,
physical
Scott?
motivation, something I've never found in my life.
What can you get me to from the foul line?
Well, you're a basketball guy. I get you to 80.
There we go. 32 in a row once. There were friendly rims. That's all.
If
I'll
you got
say.
that, you don't need me.
Well, no, that is a wild. No, I'm about a 70%.
I can improve you 10%,
Okay.
definitely. Hey, one thing is the generals bad-mouthing Trump is the same as the 51 experts from 2020. It's just appealing to some false authority that people might believe their lies.
Gotcha. Who's your person, Scott?
My guy is LeBron James. If I never hear from him again, I'll be thrilled. The guy's barely a relevant player anymore, and I got to be able to hear about him and his son. I can't stand the guy. His opinion on everything. He's wrong on everything. I never want to hear from him
Thank you,
again.
Scott. The son is much. The son's got to be better to actually be on the team.
Yeah, I agree with that much, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Joe in Bordentown. Joe, who's yours?
Mine would be sportscaster Jim Gray, who, when he's on, sounds like Barney Fife after he witnesses the Hindenburg disaster.
All right, he gets the interviews. He gets in there, though. He's got to be good at that. Donna in Malvern's got an excellent one. Donna, what's yours?
Well, I'm thinking outside the box a little bit, but I want to say good afternoon to you both. And Dan, I'm ironing my sheets while I'm listening.
Oh, God. Because of Dan, or you do that?
Oh, no, I do that. I'm the one that called in and said, Dan, you got to iron your sheets.
Oh, God.
You know, I was looking at them the other day being all wrinkled. I was thinking about your call and thinking, maybe I should get the iron out. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, little OCD
God.
there.
All right. All right, Donna, who's your person?
Mine is actually sort of a group. It's the 1-800 car for kids.
I agree with you on that. That might be my
Probably
winner.
close the contest right now, yeah.
Maybe I've heard it too much.
I'm with you.
Earl, we have very limited time. Earl, give me your choice, though. Who's yours? It's a good one, I think.
Well, you know how I feel about Christmas music, and your sister station, B101, every third song is Mariah Carey. I even wrote a Christmas song for it. Instead of All I Want for Christmas Is You, is Please Stop Playing Mariah Christmas Tunes.
Gotcha. I have no time for it. Is this Blazing Jesse in Drexel Hill? Is that who it is?
I don't know.
Hey, is this Blazing Jesse? Who's yours?
Dom, this is the guy who, after Alec Baldwin, I think needs a beating, most likely to get a beating because he tries to be relevant. That would be Keith Olbermann.
Yes, not a fan. He's
Not
going after
Blazing
me on
Jesse
Twitter.
either.
All right, Henry, who's yours?
Yeah, so I liked Robert and Ben Salem's call
Right.
Bob Costas. He's doing a
Okay.
disservice to himself and to baseball by continuing to be on
Right.
his broadcast. I liked Jim and Bordentown's call of Jim Gray just because of the call. And then, Donna and Mal with the Cars for Kids because, man, if you're in radio, you know how annoying that is.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm with Cars for Kids.
Cars for Kids
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
All right, nice work, Donna, on ironing those sheets. Tomorrow we get a winner. All right, Rich Cioli is poised in the on-deck circle to take you home. Tomorrow we take you to the prison at 2 o'clock with the commissioner of Montgomery County as they pull in with all that money, and we'll get a count of how many employees, et cetera, to get 2 ballots from prisoners. How many disabled veterans could they have cheered up, brought some coffee, donuts, and taken their ballot in? Dozens? Nah, we're not going to do that. We want to go to the prison. All right, Rich is next. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.